It's time for Twig. This week in Google, Aunt Pruitt is here. Stacey Higginbotham, Jeff Jarvis. The DOJ's investigating Google. We'll talk about why. Google had some pretty good earnings, but how well did YouTube do? We know for the first time. Clearview AI face recognition. YouTube says, and how the coronavirus is shutting down Google and the Mobile World Congress. It's all coming up next on Twig. This Week in Google comes to you from Twit's LastPass Studios. Securing every access point in your company doesn't have to be a challenge. LastPass unifies access and authentication to make securing your employees simple and secure. Check out lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 545, recorded Wednesday, February 5th, 2020. Doughy and Divisive. This Week in Google is brought to you by Zapier. Zapier connects all your business software and handles the work for you so you can focus on what matters the most. Right now through the end of the month, go to zapier.com/twig for your free 14-day trial. And by Health IQ. Health IQ uses science and data to secure lower life insurance rates for healthy people like you. To see if you qualify, go to healthiq.com/twig and take the Health IQ quiz. It could help you save up to 41% on your life insurance premiums compared to other providers. And by LastPass. Reused passwords are compromising the security of businesses worldwide. LastPass will ensure that your employees are using passwords securely by generating strong passwords for them. Visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more. It's time for Twig, This Week in Google, the show where we talk about the latest from the verse, the Google verse, the Facebook verse, the Twitter verse, the Versaverse, the media verse. That's Jeff Jarvis's job. He is the Town Night la-di-da guy. He's a professor of journalism at CUNY, but it's more than that. There it is. The Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York, and the director of the Town Night Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. I think we should refactor that. It seems like there's some repetition in there. Hello, Jeff.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, my friend?
I'm all right.
Any word from Iowa?
It's up to 85% now.
Oh, my God.
It just went up to 85%. So the latest numbers are
yes.
Buttigieg, 26.7.
Is that the
Sanders,
is that the
24.3.
Is that the after realignment?
Yes.
I can't believe we have
Buttigieg,
to even ask this now.
Sanders, 24.3.
Yeah.
Warren, 17.4.
Yeah.
Biden, 15.9.
Yeah.
Klobuchar, 12.1.
Okay, I'm going to realign myself right now. That is so weird we have to go. Okay, but is it before or after realignment? This is Aunt Pruitt. He is
aligned.
He is fully
aligned.
aligned.
He is always in full alignment.
Yes, he
most
is
of the time.
Host of HOP, Hands-On Photography, and is, of course, a regular on This Week in Google. Great to have you, Aunt.
Thank you, sir.
And your dad gum T-shirt. And sponsor. We have to do, apparently the FTC says we have to do hashtag sponsor when you wear that T-shirt. Hashtag sponsor.
I don't mind.
And Stacey Higginbotham is also here. Hello, Stacey from StaceyOnIoT.com. Good to see you.
Hello.
You
we can get you a hashtag sponsored sticker, and you can stick it on your
that's
shirt.
a good idea.
Oh.
That's a great idea. A little button. Yeah.
I didn't know. My wife told me that in the Australian Open, what's her name who won? The woman. There's one cosmetics manufacturer. They always go after the lower people, knowing they're going to play higher people. Mm-hmm. And then if they happen to come up, great, then they're fine. But they've been in everything because they're going for the lower end, and a lower person won the Open. So there they were, and it's a temporary kind of sticker they put on the outfit.
Oh, nice!
Because it's so fast.
Oh, isn't that funny? That's hysterical. Sophia Kennan?
Yes, thank you, Sophia Kennan.
It was in Melbourne. You guys should know. And, of course, the men's singles champion, Novak, dad jokes. Justice Department ramps up Google probe. That sounds painful, with heavy focus on ad tools. This is a Wall Street Journal exclusive. The Justice Department has reached out to more than a dozen companies, including all of the hereditary enemies of the Google, publishers, advertising technology firms, advertising agencies. Apparently, according to the Journal, Google's online ad tools are a major focus now of the Justice Department's
Can we trust any Justice Department probe ever again?
That's, see, this is a problem because maybe there should be some enforcement, right? But
maybe there should, maybe there shouldn't.
We can't
it's
tell.
Hard to tell the difference.
Could be Rupert Murdoch is, putting a little bug in William Barr's ear. We don't know.
And a couple $1,000 handshakes.
Yeah. Many of the questions, according to WSJ, center around two moves that Google's made in recent years that publishers and rivals. Should you be, if you're going to investigate a company for antitrust or whatever, should you be talking to competitors and rivals?
Yes.
Yes?
Of course.
Yeah. That's who you talk to?
Yes, because our current antitrust framework is built around competition and the
consumer harm.
But yes. Yeah, consumer harm.
Well, is it consumer harm or is it business harm?
Well, if it's unfair use of a market position or monopoly, that obviously does affect your competitors. Yes, the competitors have the evidence.
And they would know. They have the evidence. Yeah. See what
But here's the great thing about this. Here's the great thing about the timing, right? The same time this story comes out, right? Google's finances come out, and everybody's going after Google because the ad business is slipping.
Of course.
It's just like Microsoft. Just like that, right? Just at the time when you're fighting yesterday's war, and it literally was yesterday.
The first of the two moves Google's made in recent years that people are worried about was Google's integration of its ad server, AdWords and AdSense, with Ad Exchange, the industry's largest digital ad marketplace. Second move was Google's decision to require advertisers to use the Google tools to buy ad space on YouTube. I don't understand how else you would do that.
How else would you do
why
it?
Not?
On the first, I've always said that Google's vulnerability in its power is the ad side. They do have the power of God. I don't think that they were as clever as they should have been in being more open about the processes, in having appeals for places that are taken down. Google had too much power in advertising. I will acknowledge that. And I think it's just a nature of their size, but there could be stuff in the closet there that's going to hurt them.
Were you surprised at how little money YouTube makes for Google?
Oh, I thought that was a lot.
Was it a lot?
Ton of money. It's like
it's $15 billion, but it was $15 billion. But
so $18 billion total.
Right. Sorry. But I actually,
I thought it should be more.
Only because of Instagram.
You're talking
compared to Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Compared to Facebook, Instagram is some huge portion of Facebook's overall revenue.
I have at the bottom.
$20 billion, I think, was
$23 billion. Yeah. It's down there under my stuff. No, $20 billion. So Instagram was a $715 million purchase. Now revenue of $20 billion.
Yeah.
YouTube was a $1.65 billion purchase. Now $18.1 billion revenue. 15 ad, as Stacey said, plus $3 billion for subscription revenue.
Although, how long was YouTube purchased in 2006?
Something like that.
Yes, earlier. Yes.
Man.
Okay. Well,
so
I mean, let's talk about time value of money. And how long we've
2006, they paid $1.65 billion.
Instagram was a better investment. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Quicker returns cost
YouTube,
more.
So I'm confused. I guess $15 billion a year, because it had a $5 billion quarter in revenue. That's not profit. That's revenue.
Revenue. It's all revenue. That's ad revenue again, not including subscription revenue.
Right. Why has Google never revealed this before, and why are they revealing it now?
Sundar, I guess.
Now that he's running Alphabet?
Or maybe it's regulatory pressure. Maybe they wanted to, if people thought YouTube was all this, maybe they were like, well, let's show. Although at that pricing, it's been material for a while. So I don't understand how they could not have broken it out, if that makes sense.
That's a good point.
Oh, as soon as the other thing is, although Apple doesn't say, well, I guess they do. They don't break out.
Tablets make this much, phones make that much.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. The other thing about Google is that, to the earlier point about advertising as advertising is suffering because it is an abundant market with no end of inventory and the prices are going to go down, the Wall Street has been on Google's case to say, show us you are not 100% vulnerable to an advertising only. So they've got to show that their cloud stuff and YouTube, though it's advertising still, but a different kind, or search, show us you're not completely vulnerable to search advertising. Because search advertising has been vulnerable, as we talked about in the show many times.
All right.
It does feel like Google and Facebook have become dominant in ad tech. Amazon, you'd have to add Amazon in on that.
Now, yep.
But the three of them probably have, what, 80% or 90% of the digital ad market? I mean, it's a huge percentage.
I don't know.
Pretty much all of it.
It's
easily.
Yeah, I mean, so.
Yeah, how would, I mean, like.
But
how
there's
would you
competition.
advertise
It's not like Google has a monopoly. They might have a triopoly, if there's such a word.
You're looking for oligopoly.
Oligopoly. Is that how you say it?
Oligarchy.
By the way, that's Google's
Oligopoly.
defense. They say the ad tech
Thank
industry
you.
is competitive.
Google's market share contracted for the first time in 2016 because you have
The likes of Facebook.
Here is
50 Google share eMarketer. This is as of June 2019. The combined U.S. market share of the two giants will fall for the first time in 2018, shrinking to 56.8%. So no, it's not that high.
Well, and then throw in Amazon, though. It's going to end up being.
Amazon is late to the party. It's going to grow like crazy. Yes.
It's advertising business. How much is it?
Oh, it's
there's
trillions.
been
It's got to be trillions, right?
it's not.
not
Trillions
trillions.
is a lot of money.
I don't know.
It's a lot of
A billion
zeros.
here, a billion there.
It's going to eventually be trillions.
I was talking in rubles. Excuse me. I
Okay,
didn't-
so Amazon's ad business grew by 40% in 2019. Its ad revenue surpassed. This is quarterly. So surpassed $4 billion for the first time in the fourth quarter. So if you just
Jesus.
quick $16 billion a year.
So it's
Now,
YouTube
that is-
sized. It's heading toward YouTube sized.
Yeah.
The
So
global
it's a force, but it's not.
worldwide global digital ad spend $333 billion, a third of a trillion.
Doesn't get you there. That doesn't work. Nope. You're not off the hook.
In
Stacey
yen,
would mock
it's
you.
a lot. Okay, $333 billion though. It's a significant amount of money.
It is.
But 56% of that, not bad. I'd take it.
That's the
but
two
it's
of them.
not dominant. That's not monopoly size, is
Yeah,
it?
that's two of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well,
Slow.
then don't you also have to look though at its market power. So
Yeah.
like
That's
in terms of
that's
reach,
the issue.
like
You're right.
I don't know like how they want to do this. I mean, I'm familiar with like the cellular carrier rubrics that they use, but I have no idea for digital advertising because boring. So boring.
Here's the argument the Wall Street Journal puts forward. Google's ad tech business consists of software used to buy and sell ads on sites across the web. The company owns the dominant tool. Dominant's an interesting word here if they don't have, more than half of the market. The dominant tool at every link in the complex chain between online publishers and advertisers, giving it unique power over the monetization of digital content. Is that fair, Jeff? Is that a fair characterization?
Yeah, I think that they have well, the word dominant has very specific legal language. I know from having worked for newspaper companies where we were instructed never to use that word.
Oh, interesting.
Never in any context. You can't say that this team dominated that team. No, don't say dominant. Because we used to be, right? Long back in the past.
Yeah.
So dominant has a very specific legal meaning. So I don't know what that legal meaning is and whether it meets that. Is it huge?
No, I was
Yes.
just about to ask.
If it's only a third, it doesn't sound like it would be dominant.
No.
Well, maybe you can be dominant just by being the number one in the market, right?
Well, remember that one of the classic antitrust prosecutions was motion picture companies and who owned the theaters. They owned both the production and the distribution.
Distribution.
And whether they had 100% of that or not, that was considered a monopolistic combination. They were forced to divest the movie theaters because if you own all the distribution,
Right.
if you own both sides of the equation, it's pretty hard to get a foot in there. And so, in a way, it sounds like what the DOJ is most concerned about is the fact that Google owns both sides of the.
We're both buying and selling.
I'll read you what Google search gave me from a site I'd never heard of, but it's in their little box, so I think it must be a good one, called Getting the Deal Through. Definition of dominance. It can be proven either through direct evidence of actual price increases or the exclusion of competitors, or more typically through indirect evidence of high market shares plus barriers to entry. A share of below 50% generally is not enough to support the inference of monopoly power.
Okay, there you go.
Well, that's not.
So they're below 50%.
Yeah.
Well below.
Yeah.
And going down. And plus, you have to separate, because let's look at the pieces of the business, right? There's search advertising on Google. Mm-hmm. There's Google advertising on the sites. There's DoubleClick and other ad serving things. Mm-hmm. There's YouTube advertising. Those are separate lines of business with different competitors in each.
So it's not enough to be dominant. You have to abuse your dominant position. So it's okay to be dominant as long as you are not messing with pricing. Actually
right.
But Stacey, here's the question: if you're not dominant, can you abuse?
The abuse isn't getting into new markets.
The abuse is in setting prices in the markets that you're in,
and keeping players out.
And keeping competitors.
So Stacey, can you abuse without being dominant? Is dominance the
maybe that's what they're being accused of.
If you can exclude, even if you're not dominant, but you can exclude competitors, yes, you can be.
That's what's interesting here.
So that might be.
And what you have is what's that damn site I hate that, like restaurant reviews and all that, and the guy whines all the time about Google. Yelp. Yeah. Yelp is one of the worst sites there is. Yelp constantly complains that Google keeps them out. Now Google includes Yelp, and then they don't want to be included, and they go back and forth. But Yelp is the one who's yelping about this all the time.
Well, that's why at the very beginning I said there are, of course you do ask the competitors because that's where the evidence comes from. But at the same time, you also have a lot of companies who would just love to be in Google's position, and the journals quoting these tiny little companies I've never heard of that do ad sales, saying
plus the journal itself.
And the journal is a competitor.
Basically here, let's keep in mind something. The Wall Street Journal and the New York Times have essentially given up on the ad business.
What?
They're milking it for what they can. And they've got advertising revenue.
Subscription revenue.
Subscription is their primary business now. They've basically given up.
And that's been that way for a while, though, right?
Yeah, but they're blaming Google. Well, no, Google offered a better deal, different situation.
So now it's just sour grapes.
Just aside from antitrust, aside from financial markets.
You guys.
What?
I am reading the Sherman Trust Act, the Sherman Antitrust Act.
Good for you. It's about time.
Because you are dominant in the
IoT. U.S. This is a legal site discussing it's got the law and then the discussion of the law. The U.S. law does not recognize the concept of relative dominance. So we are not interested in who's dominant or not, apparently, according to this. So
really?
That's shocking. And I know I was just on the
purpose of the Sherman Act is not to protect competitors from harm from legitimately successful businesses, nor to prevent businesses from gaining honest profits from consumers, but rather to preserve a competitive marketplace to protect consumers from abuses.
Which is different from Europe.
But it does say that attempted monopolization and conspiracy to monopolize claims do not require a showing of monopoly power.
Well, conspiracy to. That is true antitrust, where you set
that's
you fix
like
prices
cartel
with your competitors. That's different.
I did always enjoy this show because this is where we try to figure out what's going on in real time.
This is where we get our law degrees in real time.
Real time. We probably should get Denise Howell on here.
Yeah.
The purpose of the Supreme Court, 1993. The purpose of the Sherman Act is not to protect businesses from the working of the market. It is to protect the public from the failure of the market.
Right. That's well said, yes. Unlike Europe, where they are protecting other companies, size alone gets you in trouble. Here, it has to be your impact.
It's against conduct which unfairly tends to destroy competition itself.
Right. Bingo.
So
Yelp will yelp about being yelped out of the yelping. By big bad monster Google, but I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So really then this hinges on, do you have your monopoly or dominance, but mostly monopoly, through anti-competitive means?
Right.
That's
Yes.
bad. But
How
if
did you get it and how did you use it?
Right. So,
This
but
is
if you
all
don't,
so confusing.
if you
There's such a thing as an
don't-
innocent monopoly.
It's all
Sure.
so
You're
confusing.
just so good, everyone buys you.
Which really has been
I know.
Google.
The monopoly with a heart of gold.
That's a Google. That could be like a Walmart. That could be a couple different things, right?
Well, Walmart, I mean, there's a lot of mom and pop shops would argue that Walmart unfairly
right.
and Home Depot kicked them out
This
of
is
markets.
why
and
it's
so on and so
hard,
forth.
though, because
It is hard.
They kicked them out by beating them at their own game. I mean, they did a better job.
To consumers' benefit.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess it would be more like, and this may have also happened, Walmart saying to, peanut companies, well, don't sell peanuts to anybody but me in this town or I'm not going to do business with you. And if they're so big that they can then control the market that way, well, that's obviously
wrong.
a
Right.
misuse
Well, here's
of
the
its
argument
dominance.
is that eBay and Amazon, once they get into that position, are going to raise prices.
Well, exactly.
But Benedict Evans said, he has this argument all the time online. People try to say that Amazon's a monopoly. And he says, by any number, no way.
But this is the concept of monopsony, which is hot right now. The idea that you are a monopoly buyer, that and that's Apple's right now in front of the Supreme Court over this exact thing in the App Store. If Apple has a monopsony in the App Store, that hurts everybody. So it is complicated. And you know what? You can't. The temptation is to say, well, Google's just too big. And I think a lot of the complaint about big tech is just that they're too successful. They're just
Ridiculous.
too big.
No,
I would say no.
I think you
would
need to
say
demonstrate harm to really make that case.
There is a challenge, I think, right now in demonstrating some of the harms inherent in this because, like big tech, I think people say it's too big because it's really complicated to explain. If you're a journalist, you're like, it's just too big. But there are potential harms of these companies having all of this data on someone, for example.
But that's pre-crime. You can't prosecute somebody for potential harm.
We can see that coming, and we can even see things happening today in terms of bias, but a lot of that is so opaque. We don't have the information. Like, is Google selling my data to my health insurance company so they can make decisions on pricing? That's not something that I can see. That's not something the market can see yet. And we don't even know if it's happening, right? So this is where the government's looking at this and saying there is a risk, and I think there's a legitimate risk in things being too big and in companies being too opaque.
But Stacey, that can come from small companies too. There was a
It can.
Clearview AI.
Is it on the list? There was a company that did like security stuff that was selling people's data.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which had to stop,
was it
right?
Avast?
Yeah, right.
Vast.
Avast?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Avast, right? So that's a
Avast,
tiny
you
company by
scary
comparison. Pirates, they are.
Interesting name for a
Yeah.
anti-piracy company. All right, anti-virus company.
But so you don't have to be big to do that.
Right.
What
That is
gets me
true.
with the
And you can still be stopped from doing it because it's wrong in other ways. So you don't need antitrust to protect bigness alone. I mean, it's the weird thing about America. We're up for the little guy. We're up for growing. We're up for winning. Oh no! Now you won. Now you're too big. We're going to cut you down to size.
yeah.
You know.
It's
Well,
that's
and we
the
do that. I
it's
mean,
human
that's
nature.
we-
We do it with Hollywood celebrities too. It's human nature.
Look at regulation and deregulation. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
And then, thank you.
Fair enough.
To quote Shakira. Let's
Yeah, that's exactly how she sounded.
let's take a little break. I do want to talk about Clearview AI. I want you to explain to me what's going on with that one. And then Alphabet's Jigsaw has an interesting new program that I think would be very useful if they let others use it. But first, a word from our sponsor. Here's something very useful I use, and I encourage you all to use, Zapier. Do you know about Zapier? Oh, man. In IoT, we know this whole idea of, boy, I would like my hue lights to come on when weather.com says it's sunset in the city. You need a little script to do that. And really the way those scripts work is by connecting services, right? That's what Zapier does. In fact, Zapier connects 1,500 plus apps, business apps, home automation apps, all the services I use. Make it so cool by automating your life, doing things you couldn't otherwise do. And you don't have to be a developer. You don't have to be a programmer. It's really easy to do. I should show you some of my Zaps.
Even I can figure it out.
Do you use Zapier?
I do use Zapier.
In fact, increasingly, I'm looking for things that integrate with Zapier because I realize the value of the automations. One of the things that makes Zapier unique is they do multi-step zaps. So, as an example, I use my newsreader is InnoReader. That's got an integration on Zapier. When I favorite an article in my newsreader, that's all I have to do. I put a star in it. It automatically bookmarks the article on Pinboard. And then, because it's a multi-step zap, I'm not done. It then posts it to Twitter. I have a links for Twitter account, so it tweets it out. It then, because I'm not done, it has multi-step zaps, it then takes and puts it in a Google Drive spreadsheet for Karsten so he can put the shows together, and it formats it just right. It works perfectly. I could choose which fields. It's just an amazing tool. That's Zapier at work. If you're in sales, imagine you make a deal. You can engage your leads instantly. You can automatically import new customers. You can notify your team about opportunities. And because Zapier integrates with all the CRM programs, we started using it because we use Salesforce. Boom! In fact, it's a real reason to use Salesforce. That's what I was saying. I mean, I look and I say, oh, good, it works with Instagram. Okay, good. Oh, good, it works with Google Sheets. Okay, good. WordPress, good. When you look at all the things it works with,
that list is huge.
It's huge.
It's huge.
You realize. This is what I've been looking for. Build the solution you need in minutes. And the thing is, if you know it can be automated, take a couple of seconds. You see AnyDo, that's my to-do list. I love it that integrates in. It's so cool. I don't have to manually add something to the to-do list. I can add it in a variety of different ways using Zapier. No more doing things over and over again just because it's too much trouble to figure it out. Zapier makes it easy. If you go to Zapier, Zapier.com/twig, connect the apps you use the most, let Zapier take it from there. No need for developers, no coding. You can do it. 4.5 million people use Zapier. That's a huge number. And I love this stat. On average, though each one of them saves 40 hours a month. An entire work week. 40 hours a month that Zapier's doing it, and you don't have to. Make more time to grow your business, to have more fun, to turn your lights off and on at sunset. Right now through the end of the month, try Zapier free. For 2 whole weeks, go to Zapier.com/twig. Zapier.com/twig. Free 14-day trial. It's such a great tool. I'm really grateful Zapier exists. I honestly am. There's a free forever plan. There's a premium plan. I have I think they call it the starter plan. That gives me enough zaps. Although I have to say, you should see the list of zaps. It's getting longer all the time. Zapier.com/twig. So tell me about this. This story keeps getting thicker and scarier all the time. Clearview AI. It's a Peter Thiel company. Sells face recognition. Yeah, right there, right? That's all I have to say. It sells face recognition data to a lot of people, including law enforcement. And it's a big story because they've been scraping data. In fact, YouTube just said, knock it off, Clearview. They've been scraping data from Facebook, from Instagram, from Clearview. Here's Kashmir Hill's article. This kind of broke the story open, and it's been getting deeper and deeper and deeper. They claim their database is 3 billion images scraped from Facebook, YouTube, Venmo, millions of other websites. It is bigger than anything the government has.
Isn't this what the LinkedIn decision enables?
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Did we talk
Be
about
careful
this
what
last
you wish for. We
time?
mentioned that last
okay.
time.
Yeah.
In the New York Times story about this kind of scraping. But there's a lot of scraping going on, and scraping, as a journalist.
Scraping can be so good. Yes, as a journalist.
I love scraping. We want scraping. take data, figure out what it means, add it all up. It's good stuff. But
this is okay. So here's where, Jeff, you and I are about to diverge.
Oh, boy.
Yay, scraping. Yay, taking data.
Stacey, don't lose this magical moment.
We're in agreement.
Stacey.
Yay.
Right now in America, we need to come together more, not diverge.
We need to make laws
find common ground,
preventing
Stacey.
you from doing crazy things with that data. So a good law would be to prevent the police from using widespread phishing expeditions
Stacey,
using facial recognition.
We've talked about.
Wait,
Well,
that is something that Jeff is for. Jeff is for.
He's pulling a Nancy Pelosi. He's
I just had
tearing
to
it
do
up.
it for the sake of doing it. I have the paper here ready for this, Stacey.
Jeff is for things that punish people who do things. With
I
technology.
agree, but
I'm saying the
Don't
facial
stop the-
rules
here's where we're
around
gonna diverge.
stopping facial recognition would be good here, and that
Stacey's
prevents.
going to stop police from doing any facial recognition. I'm going to stop them from doing bad facial recognition.
I'm
right?
going to stop them from doing without a warrant.
Okay, we agree then.
How do you
So
get
why-
a warrant
why
if
were
you're
you trying to
searching?
sow discord,
Wait a minute.
Stacey?
If I put a camera up and I'm searching for a felon walking down the street, what, are you going to serve a warrant on everybody walking down the street? You're in the public. You don't have a right to privacy.
The data is sitting there, but you can't access the data unless you have a warrant to get to it. You can't just fish in the data. That's what Stacey's saying, I think, right?
Don't
you
fish
can
in the
search
data. You
someone's
need a
apartment
warrant.
with a warrant without their permission.
So you say it would be okay to turn, like the Metropolitan Police are doing in London, to turn on face recognition on the cameras if you went to a judge and say, Judge, we expect a criminal to walk through this intersection.
Or we know one did. We want to try to find it.
We're trying to find
you need to define a time frame. You need to define a locale.
And a goal.
And you need to get it and the goal. And you need to get a judge to say, yeah, that's cool. And so to get a warrant too, you have to show probable cause.
So what you don't like is the fishing expedition where you just go, let's watch everybody going up and down the street and see if we can find anything, get a bad guy.
Right.
We agree.
I don't want that kind of power.
But wait a minute. Doesn't a police officer who's standing on the corner do that?
I agree, but the argument is that police officer, she doesn't scale the way data do.
So wait a minute. Now let me get this straight because I want to get your logic straight. So the crime here is not the act; it's the fact that you scaled.
That's the fear people have.
Well, fear is different than the crime.
The fear that people have is if you have, in facial recognition is different than, are you talking about recognizing someone digitally who's committing a crime? Is that what you're talking?
If a police officer is on a corner and happens to know, maybe she's read the mug book this in the morning and she knows, and she's keeping an eye out and she recognizes you walking down the street. She said, hey, you, stop. And arrest you because you have a warrant, outstanding warrant.
If you're someone who's an outstanding warrant, you are a person of interest. You have.
But she didn't get a warrant first. She didn't get a
warrant to search
warrant.
a database. You're right.
She's just looking around the street because you're in public. So a camera doing it,
that's
same thing.
So, Leo, you're trying to get discord here. I will agree with you, and I do agree with you, that the doctrine of what is public would stop the Stacey doctrine. But Stacey's been trying to get kind of a temporary until we know what we're doing argument here. And what I've objected to is this idea that you turn off all facial recognition and don't allow it from police. I think that would be wrong. You put strictures on their use of it. I think you can do that with anything police do. I think that's a fine thing.
Training, but also limit the power of people that don't necessarily need all of that power.
Yeah,
there's a fine line there.
I think because it scales so much and because our justice system is not exactly just, I think there's a big and an important interest in saying, let's make police work a little harder and pick crimes that really matter to find these people. Because it could be that, I saw somebody shoplifting or somebody was shoplifting and I have a good image of them. I might go after that person simply because the image is higher quality. I might go after them because I think that they look like they're not capable of defending themselves, so they'd be an easy grab. There's a lot of decisions when you can apply things at scale that you can.
So what do you think of the Illinois Biometric Information Privacy Act? Facebook this couple of weeks ago got a $500 million fine for
I liked
tagging
it.
suggestions on Facebook. You know, when you take a picture of Facebook,
Right.
put it up
This
there, and
looks
then
like
you could say, this
you,
looks like this is. And in Illinois, that is apparently illegal. And
It's a public place. Again, you don't put up things on Facebook to hide them. That would be the worst thing on earth to do.
Right, but people take pictures of you without your consent in private places, put them on Facebook, and then they're
But then
tagged.
the person you have a problem with is the one who put the photo up there, not necessarily Facebook under 230.
No, but this doesn't. This I actually agree with this settlement. I think the way that this is playing out, and I think these are important debates we need to have. I just think we should talk about them as opposed to having Facebook unilaterally decide for us. But I may have a problem with the person who took the picture and posted and tagged it, but I also have a problem with Facebook that makes it visible and findable in a way that hasn't been before.
Okay, but let me give you another one, Stacey.
I'm not well versed on Facebook, but it seems like if you were to tag me in an image, I would get a notification. Should I have the ability to hit approve or not approve before it goes up?
Now you do. At beginnings, you didn't.
Okay.
But here's
in
another
the
one,
early
Stacey
days of
and
that
Ant.
feature.
So Ant is on a photo assignment for the San Francisco Chronicle. He takes pictures of people in crowds, puts the photos up for all the world to see. We as journalists would not want anything to stop that.
Just doing a job.
Right.
NBC, though, used to, in their standards and practices binder that they handed out to all of us, say...
I'm sure you studied religiously.
I did, because I was very fascinated by what they wouldn't allow us to do. They said, you got to get a release for even in public, for everybody you show in video. And by the way, well, that's the funny thing. I said, well, what if his back is turned? They said, if his mother would recognize him, you have to get a release.
Is that because you were entertainment, not news?
No, it's the news division.
No, even for news, like in the video, you can't show videos of people without a release form. They'll blur your face.
No. You can. Just very nervous lawyers at some companies stop you from doing it.
But 20 years ago, this is 20 years ago, they didn't want you to do that.
That's nervous corporate lawyers.
But I also think that I'm going to go back to scale. I think it's a lot more problematic to have facial recognition saying that this photo of someone in this crowd, that's Stacey, and annotating that for everyone to see is very different than someone happening across that photo in the San Francisco Chronicle.
That's different.
And seeing
the San Francisco
and I would
Chronicle
also say
had a huge audience one day. Not anymore.
I know, but it doesn't have a global audience, and that audience isn't going to have access to that picture for the next 50 years.
So make it the New York Times or Life magazine.
So New York Times or Life, I would say, still not going to have searchable access to that for the next 50 years.
A much larger audience than anything on Facebook.
It does, but you can't find that by looking for me specifically. Someone might happen across it.
You're into an entirely new area here that the law, I don't think, addresses. Now, this is your point that we discussed this.
That's why I think we need to talk about it.
Out there now.
Right. And I think there's big implications of having these searchable over the entire world forever that Facebook is taking advantage, and lots of companies are taking advantage of the fact that the current society doesn't really understand the implications. We're just starting to understand the implications of this. But you can never escape. I mean, in some ways, that's like what do not track, but that's a very clumsy way of doing it. Mm-hmm. And I think if we talked about it and figured this out for facial recognition, we have a better chance of crafting rules that would not force us to do something clumsy like do not track.
So Illinois is the only state.
Or do not search, whatever. You know what I'm talking about, right, Jeff?
I think so.
Yes.
Texas has a biometric law, too.
Oh, okay. Illinois is the only law that allows you to sue.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So that's what this was. This was a class action based on the Illinois law.
That release you're talking about from your former NBC days reminds me a lot of the stock photography sites that pretty much say the same thing when you're trying to upload.
Prudent. Not legally required, just prudent.
Mm-hmm.
It's also like a polite thing to do.
Yeah. It's polite.
I mean, as a journalist, I will say that sometimes, you have to say, screw it, I'm going to be a rude jerk because I am a journalist and I have a higher duty, right? But for normal people and in cases where it's not a public interest, I think you should not be a jerk.
No, I agree.
Full stop. And also, what about children?
What about the children?
No, sorry. I'm like, do we have rules? And I don't know. Protecting like imagery of children? Minors?
I've only seen with.
Well, if you're, I don't think there's rules. If you're in a school, you know, as you said, you don't sign the releases, but that's because that's a different purpose. That's marketing purpose. The school wants to take pictures and put them out there on the website. That is a marketing purpose. Whatever image, if it's marketing, you may not use my image unless you have my permission.
Right.
That's different from news.
And my daughter was in the news.
That's what my boy's former school did, and that's also, again, what the stock photography sites will tell you is once you have people that are under 18, we urge you to get a form signed by their, guardian or what have you, because this is still marketing material that you're trying to produce for whatever content creator out there with your art.
As I wrote in Public Parts, a book no one bought because it was optimistic.
Wait, no, I read it.
Because I gave it to you.
Oh, well, that is true. I would have bought it.
Didn't buy it. I gave it to you.
You said
you gotta stop giving them away, Jeff. That's rule 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah.
It started with a case of a woman's face being on the side of a flour barrels as an advertisement, and she did not give her permission for that. And so this doctrine of privacy starts from a marketing use of the right you have to your image. But that's superseded by the right to report on what's public. And that's different. Depends upon the use.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it is absolutely the case in the United States. You do not have any expectation of privacy in public. Somebody can take your picture.
No, you don't.
Nope.
That's why upskirt photos were like legal in so many places, and still the laws.
Well, I do note that it says within legal community standards. You can't. There are some restrictions on how far you can go with that. But anyway, that may vary by
jurisdiction.
locale. Yeah.
Can I ask a weird question?
Oh, please.
Oh boy.
Get weird.
So I was in the bookstore today. No, it's not that weird. Don't worry. Don't get worried. I was in the bookstore today, and I saw a book called The Mysterious Affair at Olivetti, IBM, the CIA, and the Cold War Conspiracy to Shut Down Production of the World's First Desktop Computer.
I remember that, Olivetti. That was
Do you remember that was a case, though?
I don't remember the case.
More than a decade before the Osborne 1 Apple 1, Olivetti had a personal computer, says this New Yorker author named Meryl Seacrest. I had never heard of this.
This is...
were they up against the Selectrics?
I'm not sure.
This is
it's a book on Amazon.
I don't know if this is the one they're talking about. I guess
this is a desktop computer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Apparently Olivetti was... We know them as a typewriter company, but they actually were in computers.
Never heard of them.
Yeah. Oh, I always wanted an Olivetti manual typewriter. They were gorgeous.
So I only knew of the Underwood.
Somebody was killed in a suspicious crash. I thought
this
maybe
is good. Wait a minute. Say no more. Let's make a podcast out of it. The mysterious case of the Olivetti computer. I think we... Next.
I got to read the book now, but
yeah,
people are complaining in the Amazon reviews that no, the Amazon had the 6100, not the 5100. It's all the I don't know.
The mysterious affair.
Yeah, I just thought maybe you'd know this, Grandpa.
No,
Grandpa.
I don't remember that.
Oh wow, they had Le Corbusier.
Yeah, they had beautiful designs. Yeah,
offices. Yeah, designed their offices.
Yeah.
Wow, Carlos Scarpa.
It's Italian, of course.
Yeah,
it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
Meryl Seacrest wrote this, The Mysterious Affair at Olivetti.
I just got back from the bookstore and thought that was fascinating.
Did you buy the book?
No, I'm going to buy it on audio.
He's going to call Meryl and get her to give it to him for free. Hello, I'm a fellow author. Nobody buys my books, so I don't want to buy yours. Do you mind? Just give it to me.
They made laptops, you guys.
Oh yeah, no. I remember the early Olivetti laptops.
Wow.
They were elegant. I don't know anybody who had one.
No.
Yeah. Well,
Holy
because of the
moly.
Fiat of
conspiracy.
computers.
Yeah, the conspiracy against them. So this Jigsaw, which is Alphabet, that's one of their moonshots, right?
That's a do-gooder. No, it's not.
Oh,
really
it's
that.
the do-gooder one.
Instead, it's a do-gooder one that says we have to worry about the state of the information
I interviewed
ecosystem.
the director of it on the late lamented Triangulation.
Right.
The company owned by Google's parent has introduced a free tool it calls Assembler that can detect, you might be interested in this, Ant, whether an image has been manipulated. A doctored phony image of President Obama shaking hands with President Hassan Rouhani of Iran. Remember that? The president tweeted that out.
Yeah.
A real photograph of a Muslim girl at a desktop doing her homework with Donald J. Trump looming in the background. Which is real? Well, apparently this program Assembler, Jigsaw tested it with more than a dozen news and facts-checking organizations around the world, including Animal Politico in Mexico, Rappler in the Philippines, Rappler, and Agence France Presse. It does not plan to offer the tool to the public.
I wonder why
Adobe is also working on the same technology.
Yeah, good point, Ant.
So we were talking about this the other day. You said that you can kind of tell because pixels will be distorted, or
stretching out the pixels.
Yeah, or things just don't match up right. If you pixel peep, you can kind of tell.
Mm-hmm.
And this can also be used for deep fakes.
I assume that's what it's built for, right?
Well, there's deep fakes and then there's shallow fakes. I don't know. There's deep fakes. I always think of deep fakes as video, but there's plenty of modified still images as well. In fact,
we figured out Photoshop. I mean, Photoshop. I remember scaring editors to death at the Daily News when I was doing crude Photoshop, saying, "This is what you can do." Mm-hmm. Here's a question, but so there was a picture of Ben Carson sitting on a plane, I guess, back from somewhere, Iowa. Everybody with their red MAGA hats on, and I'll put it on the rundown chat.
I saw that picture.
That's the question. People were asking, is this a fake?
It's
Was he
gotta
photoshopped
be.
in?
It doesn't make sense that they would
But I
all
don't
be
know.
wearing those hats.
No, it wasn't. No.
But someone could easily craft that.
Smart ass.
Because someone could easily craft an image like that. Though.
Where's you put the link where? Where'd you put it?
I put it in the rundown chat.
Oh, the rundown chat.
So
we got it.
He looks like he's photoshopped in there. So people were guessing that he was photoshopped, just like we put an African American on this plane. Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't.
Either that or he's sitting
That's
on her
totally
lap.
phony looking. That
Well, I
totally
don't know.
No, he
looks
could
phony.
just be sitting on someone's lap. Maybe
She looks
he was
like
sitting
she's
in
in
first
pain.
class.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was in first class, of course.
You know, but again, all of this stuff, you have to look at it really, really close and not just jump on the bandwagon with whatever everybody's saying.
Yeah, because in
on
our
social
Christmas
media.
card, we photoshopped two people in.
Everybody
And
says I
everybody-
was photoshopped
And
in.
you were there.
Like, did you get photoshopped in? And I'm like, no.
Literally, the people who were photoshopped look real, and the people who weren't didn't.
All right. So you got to
You
go
can't
through that
always
stuff
just look
closely.
at it. This guy's neck doesn't match his collar. I mean, the whole thing's made up.
It's beautiful.
What?
I'm just teasing. I'm just joking. I'm joking with you. What? No, this guy right here. Does that look normal? That doesn't-
Which one?
Which
This guy. I don't know how to zoom. I need a Photoshop zoom.
let's
Control plus. There we go.
That guy. That's not his head.
That's his head.
Somebody else's head on a body. I'm just making it up. I don't know.
Ay, ay, ay.
I just made
Ay,
it up.
ay, ay.
And this guy's hat. That's clearly
He's got
the
the
wrong
Steve Bannon
size.
3 shirts, though.
The wrong size hat.
It's the wrong size hat.
That's a sticker on his head.
It's a sticker.
That is the wrong size hat. He does have a large head. The girl behind him is wearing his hat.
Oh, they
Her
should
hat is too
swap.
big.
Oh,
They should swap hats.
That was clearly a bad
I don't
Photoshop
think Ben
job.
Carson is in this photo. I mean, I really don't. That does look very phony.
But that's what we're doing.
It looks
But
like
the
a
good news here
bad
is
Photoshop job.
people are asking this question now.
Yeah, now you do.
That's okay. It's all right.
I'm gonna wait a minute. Let me pull up the Christmas card.
The Christmas card is pretty funny. I don't know how many times I got asked about that.
They thought you weren't.
It was like, did you get photoshopped in? I was like, no, I was there. It's like your hand.
I'm trying to I mean, I got the Christmas card. I don't think I noticed.
Your hand is as big as everybody's head, and I'm like, well,
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
I don't. You look like you were there, but this guy here, he
Right.
doesn't look real. He's real.
True.
All right.
Who was photoshopped in?
Can you figure it out?
On the left side, right there. Yes.
Who?
Up, right there.
This girl in the elf hat?
No, to the left.
Masako.
There.
Masako.
Yeah, she was
Masako.
photoshopped in. You're right.
She was photoshopped in. Yes.
You're good.
Oh,
There you go. Patrick was definitely
Delahanty.
photoshopped in.
I don't think that counts as photoshopping in.
He's on a tablet or a computer screen.
Did Osaka take the photo? Is that why she had to be
Yeah,
photoshopped
there were
in?
two people who weren't here. I think my son wasn't here either. I think he's photoshopped as well.
And Hank,
Yeah, Hank was photoshopped in. Did you do this, Jerry? You did
Yeah,
a good job.
he runs.
He's
He-
running. You did a
he
good job.
leaves the studio.
But I swear to God, Bill, it definitely looks like it was photoshopped in, and he was not. Mm-hmm. So anyway, it's a good card.
It was a great card.
You looked like you belong there.
I thought so, but
You're the
then
only- yeah,
more
you're the only-
people started looking at it and mentioning it to me. I'm like, well, maybe I do look giant size in this. I don't know.
Well,
That's
why.
how
you're
big
right
you
in
are.
You
You are
are.
that big. That's how
I'm
big you
normal.
are. All right.
So funny.
Let's. What do you want to do next? You want to talk about something? You want to do a break? What do you want to do next?
Let's do a
I
break.
don't know.
Break, says Mr. Bundy.
Listen to your director.
Bondi
We got
wants
lots
to do
to
a
talk
break.
about.
Yeah,
Really?
we
Well,
do
let's
have
do a
lots
few
to-
more stories, then we'll do a break.
I want to hear what
We
you have
were
to say.
gonna-
I know you've talked about
we
it
were gonna
security.
listen to
Sorry,
Karsten.
Stacey, go ahead.
No, we're never going to listen to Karsten.
Don't
He's
listen to
photoshopped
Karsten.
in. He's not even here.
He's
How
not
about
even
this-
looking at the camera in that
How about
picture.
this guy who put 99 Android phones in a little red wagon
Guys, so much.
and pulled it around the street
I'm so proud of him.
to make Google Maps say there's a traffic jam here, even though there's nobody there. And in fact,
My
That's
sons
awesome.
have already started collecting phones.
yeah, you're going to do it?
My sons want to.
It's a great idea. These phones are all running Google Maps.
That's awesome.
Gaming
the system,
He's
right.
a performance artist. It wasn't, Google said, well, we have figured out how to tell a car from a bicyclist, but not yet a little red wagon. It was a clever idea.
It was very clever.
Yeah. it was
I know
cute.
those streets too. Those are busy. I know those streets well. I walk.
Well, so that's
That
the
one
question. There's
on the upper
nobody
left
on
is
these
not that
streets.
busy.
Is it because people are avoiding them because they have a
Well,
traffic
the one on the
jam?
upper left in that picture, that one right there, that's not a very busy street, oddly.
Yeah.
It's behind Unter den Linden. But I think. But yeah, the one on the right is busy.
One of the things that if a car went by while he was pulling the wagon at normal speed, the map would instantly revert to green, saying, "Oh, there's no traffic jam
course.
here." So they really were trying to, figure out whether this
So
was
basically-
I
he
appreciate
can
the
bring-
effort,
yeah.
I appreciate the thinking behind it. I mean, it basically, artists and hackers are the people you should look to
Yeah.
figure out how things can be gamed, right?
to break stuff.
And-
yeah.
It's very fun. It's smart, and if you did this in a car, would it make much of a difference? That'd be kind of the next fun thing to do.
Oh,
I would try it because of mile per hour versus walking. It's,
he said.
Oh, Stacey, that's interesting. Then you give yourself a good commute.
Possibly, I don't know. That's the question.
So Waze cheaters. Oh,
But you would have to no, because it would actually limit you to
Have to be
exactly
ahead
how
of you.
fast you're driving.
You'd have
Right.
to take
So you-
turns.
so you'd need
though.
to hire somebody ahead. If you're really rich, if you're Michael Bloomberg, you hire someone 5 minutes ahead of you.
Maybe 2 minutes, but they wouldn't
Well,
stay
but then you
5
catch
minutes
up.
ahead of you. Yeah. This is like one of those math problems.
Let's
If
make
you're
this
both
happen.
Well,
going-
the other problem I've wondered about. So
the
let's say
train
that
leaving
absolutely-
Pennsylvania
exactly.
at the same time.
Right. Everyone uses Waze. Let's say we reach that nirvana. Everybody uses Waze. Then Waze can't direct everybody in the same place because Waze will create traffic jams.
I just read a paper on this on mathematicians
does.
solving traffic jams. And one
Oh.
of the things, yeah, I know.
This
One
was
of
a
the
good
things they
article.
recommend, they actually say that if everyone gets on the same platform, then traffic people, the transportation engineers in cities can actually help people by directing them properly in real time.
I would assume Google's smart that Waze and Google Maps are already doing this. They don't take 5,000 people, say, all of you go down that side street. They must distribute.
I thought
if they were an evil company, they would sell priority.
But I thought in the Google verse they were siloed. You know, that Waze is one thing and Google Maps is another thing. And
I think Waze data.
I didn't know that.
No, I don't think
Waze
they are.
is now
Google Maps uses Waze data now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought they were still siloed.
I presume that they share
In fact,
back to Waze. I don't
you can report stuff now on Google Maps.
Yeah.
Right.
I like
the
Google
same
Maps.
way you can do Waze.
I like Google Maps. I've never been on the wave.
Talk about a snafu. Google Photos send strangers videos to other people in
Man, that's
when
so
they were.
bad.
If you're doing a takeout of your data, the only reason we know is Google actually sent out emails saying we're notifying people about a bug that may have affected users who used Google Takeout to export their Google Photos between November 21st and 25th. These users may have received either an incomplete archive or videos, not
extras.
photos, that were not theirs. We recommend
My bad.
you delete the prior export at this time. Yeah, that's not a good thing. But it's a bug. It sounds like the streams got crossed. Somebody you got somebody's, somebody got yours.
When I'm thinking about it, like from a relational database standpoint.
Yeah, you can see how that would happen. Yeah.
It's like, whoops.
But not a good thing.
Yeah.
Right. When you realize the data behind it could be really anything.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? This is a little wake-up call for people who are putting compromising photos on the internet.
That's right.
Guess
Who
what?
puts compromising photos in the cloud?
No comment.
No, nobody anymore.
No comment.
I stopped. No, it's a foolish thing to do. Anything.
Yeah.
Nice work, Mr. Kevin.
Anything you post on the internet, you should. What was the rule that I used to say? You shouldn't post
front page of the New
anything
York
on the
Times.
internet. Well, or you wouldn't want your grandma to see. Mm-hmm. Of course, I have a pretty hep grandma. But no, I mean that's could always happen. It's happened in other cases. Remember, private photos on Facebook were made public by accident, including those of Mr. Mark Zuckerberg.
The boss.
The boss. I wonder what Mobile World Congress is going to be like this year. Already LG has said we're not going because of the coronavirus. ZTE
is going.
They're going, but we won't have a press conference, right?
Right. And the steps they're taking, they actually are quarantining anyone who plans to go. They're quarantining for 2 weeks before the event, so they know they're not sick.
Well, good for them. They're trying to protect
Proactive
attendees. You know, I was thinking, Ant, but for the grace of God, if the coronavirus had started spreading 2 weeks, 3 weeks earlier, CES was full of Chinese companies, Chinese representatives.
Could have been a mess.
I mean, I noticed it myself. I said, boy, we're going to have a hard time if we shut China out of the U.S. economy, because half the stuff at CES was from Chinese companies.
And suppliers for all the rest.
Yeah.
Yep.
And imagine if it could have been a disaster, 180,000, 200,000 people.
200,000 minimum.
In a small, tight space, all shaking hands, and coronavirus. So we're lucky it didn't break out.
I've got a conference coming up in Singapore. I asked my doctor, would you go? He said, mm-mm.
Oh,
really?
Man, really?
He said no.
He said, it's overblown versus the flu, but he said, my fear is you won't get back in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine being stuck on a cruise ship for 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's not worried
Maybe
about you
you'd be
getting
happy,
sick. He's worried. Yeah, I don't mind.
I'd be bored
Where are we
to
going?
tears.
He said when.
It's a C day. I love it.
He said when.
In this case, C stands for coronavirus.
I have a conference in San Jose in a couple of weeks, and they actually sent out an email saying, hey, look, it's a tiny machine learning conference, so tiny ML conference.
Nice.
They sent out a thing saying, hey, if you've been in mainland China, just don't come. And they'll give you a full refund, but they definitely don't want you
that's
there.
interesting.
Good on him.
It feels
but
like
they're
it's
not-
overblown. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't.
It is, but who wants to be
I know. Yeah.
14-day incubation and not necessarily with symptoms?
Well, it is overblown in the sense like the death rates aren't incredibly high, but apparently so far, and there's a lot we don't know, but the hospitalization rates are pretty high. So even if you don't die, the fact that you're ill enough to have to go to the hospital, I think they're looking at like
serious.
A quarter of the patients need critical care.
Right.
So if you imagine 25% of everyone who gets this disease having to have care in a hospital, that's pretty big.
That's serious.
We had a case in San Jose, just down the road a piece.
Really?
Yeah, but again, the flu is much more fatal.
Well, by numbers because it's wider spread.
Oh.
And we also don't know.
We don't
know.
So the
other thing is we don't.
The mystery is part of it, and also the threat that it could mutate and become more deadly,
crazier.
I'm not running around shaking people's hands. Fist bump.
That's just because you're a mean bastard.
Yeah.
Well, fist bumps just. You got an elbow.
That's what the doctor did to me.
No,
doctor usually comes and shakes my hand. No, doctor did fist bump.
I think that's okay. Your knuckles aren't contaminated, are they?
My knuckles are, because I use them to touch everything. I'm like, elbows?
So Henry's in Asia. My son's in Asia right now. And his mother and I went back and forth sending him text messages saying, wash your hands, don't touch any surfaces. The masks aren't that useful, but definitely don't go on a train. And if you do, make sure you wipe everything down first. And finally I said, and whatever you do, don't go on any live animal markets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay away from birds.
That would be the one thing.
If you were a podcast network with revenue of $16 million and 90 employees, would Spotify buy you? They bought The Ringer.
Sounds like it.
Bill Simmons, nice job. Bill's a very nice, talented, extraordinarily successful podcaster. Spotify just bought him, the fourth podcast deal in the past year. The Ringer. We don't know what the amount is, but given that he spent $230 million on Gimlet, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a
Hey, Spotify, you want geeks. Geeks are smart. They've got they waste money on things.
Waste money.
You know what? They don't want us. They don't want us.
Too smart.
I don't know.
And Bill Simmons' company is dependent upon him.
I called Daniel Ek and said, Daniel, dude. He said, no. Leo, I don't like you. I don't want you. We were one of the first podcast networks to be on Spotify. We were part of the big launch.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I was too.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
They didn't buy you either, huh?
They didn't buy me either. That's okay. I haven't been for sale, technically.
Well,
I feel like I need.
You never know.
I feel
We're
like,
all for sale, baby.
well, no, I feel like The Ringer. They have people who talk to other people.
They
put
they
bugs
were out
in
there.
people's ears.
Yeah, no, they were out there. I'm sure. Yeah, and they branched out from sports. They do more cultured stuff. I think they're very good. They have 30 titles. NBA Chat Show. They do one where they rewatch old movies together, which is pretty funny. Daniel Ek said, with Ringer, we're basically getting the new ESPN, which I think is a very good and smart take on that. In the future, is ESPN going to be on cable? No. It's going to be on the internet, right?
That's it. Just available wherever you can get it.
Yeah. Next ESPN is not going to be on cable television.
Right.
So good for you, Bill. Nice job. Damn it.
He says, damn it.
I want to be loved.
I just want 100 million. No, I don't want love. I want 100 million. You can hate me. I don't care. Google is shutting down all its China offices due to the coronavirus. Apple's already shut down a few of its stores. There's a real concern about products made in China. There was already a slowdown,
in our world.
which is everything. There was already a slowdown because of the Lunar New Year, and now that's been extended.
I'm trying to find some Kickstarter people who are, because I guarantee you those people are going to have they'll feel it first, right?
Yeah.
They feel it when the Lunar New Year happens.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I just stay well, everybody. You can't get a shot.
All right.
So apparently,
you had your flu shots though for the real flu.
I always get my flu shot, but apparently this time it's not as good a shot.
It's not that great. No,
I never done them.
What?
Never done them.
And you don't want the flu, trust me.
And really, you don't want it. You want
I've gotten the flu in the past.
You think you've gotten the flu?
I've gotten the flu in the past.
You've had gastroenteritis. Seriously.
That's
the problem is people call that the flu.
Dr. Leo.
The stomach flu. You're throwing up. You know,
Didn't have that.
Oh, you didn't have that? It was a congestion in the lungs. You couldn't breathe.
And I've had sinusitis.
You didn't want to get up out of the
But every one of
bed.
them is different, Ant.
I can only remember having the flu maybe twice.
I don't think I've ever had the flu. That's the
Maybe
thing.
I've had
twice.
the flu.
You've
and it
had the flu?
transferred. The flu. I got it at CES in 2014,
Yikes.
15?
And that's
14.
when I got it. It was CES.
You'd had the same flu.
Well, Leo, I think you're my age, right?
Yep.
So you and I have to get the Mondo shot.
Mondo?
Yeah, we old folks get the double shot.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Really? I don't think I got mine in October. When did the double shot start?
No, it's been as soon as you turn 65.
In November.
Oh, I'm not 65 yet. Okay.
Oh.
So I have a couple of years
I
left.
thought you were going to say something like, we had to get the polio vaccine.
We did. Got it right here,
did.
baby. Did.
We did.
I remember vividly in grade school getting the polio.
I got it in Sugar Cube.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
I
right.
did not get
Vaccine.
the polio vaccine.
Oh, that's right. This was the smallpox one.
Yeah.
The one on your
this-
shoulder, smallpox. Yeah.
I didn't get that either.
Yeah, we got sugar cubes. That was fun. We all went down to the gym. You line up. They give you a little Dixie cup
There
with a
are
sugar
still
cube in it.
people in iron lungs.
Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Wait, is polio part of some of the childhood vaccines? MMR?
Oh, yeah.
It's been eradicated. It has been eradicated. There is no
All I know is
more
there's
polio.
There's a chickenpox vaccine, and I wish I had gotten that so I would never get chickenpox and then later shingles, because shingles are awful.
I got the chicken pox, but I also had shingles once.
Oh, I hear it's terrible.
It was the worst.
You both had shingles?
I've never had
No,
shingles.
me neither.
It was. I still suffer from it. There's a issue with one of the nerves in my pecs. And
Really?
Every now and then you'll notice I'll just
Do
sort
that
of,
thing where you make it.
I'll just
I
sort
was
of
like,
observe.
does it twitch?
Do that thing. you make it jump. You go back and forth. Do that thing. Come on. You know you can.
There we go.
No.
Oh my God, he can. Oh my God. What is this?
But no.
What is this? Let's take a break. All right.
Yes,
Karsten,
please.
I put off Karsten long enough. I'm going to give a chance for the ladies in the audience to take a couple of. I'm getting the vapors. My goodness. I had no idea.
Just take
You
a
were
break.
so dadgum cute. Our show today brought to you. Carson's yelling at me now.
Since yelling.
He's yelling at me. Ant is the reason we have this advertisement.
Oh man.
Because if Ant goes to get life insurance, it's happened to you. They say, what's your BMI, your body mass index? And you'd say whatever it is, 30, 32.
Oh, it's way higher than
Higher than that?
It's up
And they
there.
go, my God, you must be morbidly obese. Is Ant morbidly obese? No, he can make his pecs dance.
Yeah.
He is buff.
Yeah, my BMI is like 40 something.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So that's the problem, is that you are, to many life insurance companies, just a number. And if that number, if they don't understand the context of that number, they aren't going to give you great life insurance. Health
right.
IQ is the life insurance agency, the concierge life insurance agency for you. If you are healthy, if you're doing everything right for your health today, you're exercising. You exercise more than 4 times a week?
Yes, sir.
So do I. You get a minimum of 8 hours of sleep? That's a little
No, that's another story.
on average. How about on average? If you eat right, if you take care of yourself, if you're doing what everyone knows is the right thing to do to ensure a longer life, you need to go to Health IQ for your life insurance. Health IQ is a life insurance agency that uses science, that uses data to get lower life insurance rates for people like you. You can get $1 million of life insurance, $36 a month in many cases. The reason is that it's science, it's statistics, it's actuarial science. Healthy people effectively subsidize unhealthy people. The key is to let your insurance company know that you're healthy. So here's what Health IQ's done. They've got white glove concierge service. They walk you through the process. They're not underwriting it. They work with the 30 top insurance companies in America. And they get you prices no one else can get you. They're exclusive to Health IQ. But you got to qualify to get the special rate, and that's when the Health IQ quiz kicks in. It's a scientific way to assess not your health, but your knowledge. It's a knowledge assessment, not a self-assessment. How health literate are you? They put together this quiz with the nation's leading medical, health, and fitness experts Depending on your score and other qualifying factors, for instance, you can give them the information from your Fitbit or your Apple Watch. You could save up to 41% on your life insurance premiums compared to other providers. You could just send them a video of this show, Ant. Just the peck thing. There's no commitment. You'll learn even more about the potential opportunities to be rewarded for your commitment to living healthy. If you're living healthy, get the best rate possible. Let Health IQ's concierge service guide you to the life insurance you deserve. Now, you ready to take the quiz? It's fun. Go to healthiq.com/twig. healthiq.com/twig. If you pass the quiz, they're going to call you and they're going to talk to you through the process.
Right.
That's how it works. They're going to be your insurance agency, and they're going to help you and you will be blown away. There's no risk, no cost to you if it doesn't work out. But at least start with a quiz. It's a lot of fun. healthiq.com/twig. Get the savings you've earned with your healthy lifestyle. Make it worthwhile. Don't just sit there making your pecs dance. Get a good life insurance rate at healthiq.com/twig.
I fired a primary care physician many years ago because he said I was overweight.
It's so good. Look at you.
I was like,
dude,
really?
And I asked him. I said, where do you get your britches? He said britches.
Yes, I did. I said britches.
I said, you go to the big and tall store? He said, no, that's for fat people.
Yeah, that's right.
It was always my greatest humiliation as a kid. We'd go to the department store to buy pants, and my mom would always take me to the husky aisle.
The husky side.
The husky aisle.
I've seen those aisles.
Yeah, that's where.
But if I go to the big and tall, it's normally the waist is way too big, but they fit my legs, so
that's the thing.
Still go there. So
he's literally his circumference of his thighs are larger than the circumference of his waist. I don't know how that's possible. Google.
How tall are you, Ant?
6'2", sir.
Okay.
He's intimidating. That's why we think they even
no,
look
he's
at the,
not. He's friendly.
Not.
Oh, I know. He's the sweetest guy ever. But you know what? I think I've noticed that the big, strong guys are very confident and often very sweet. It's the little guys that are scrappy.
Yeah,
nothing
Napoleons.
to prove. I have nothing to prove.
They got it.
I'm going to say I've met all kinds.
I know you. Are you tall?
And you do exude a relaxing vibe. Like the first time I met you, I was like at CES, super stressed, and I just was like, oh, I feel so like I could take a breath. What's happening?
Isn't
And it was you, Ant.
I was so starstruck.
He's the Bob Ross of tech.
It is. It's
6'2" of Zen.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. 6'2".
See,
Zen.
he looks photoshopped into this shot. He doesn't. It's like, what happened? Either everybody else got
all
shrunk.
these doughy people.
Yeah, who are these doughy people?
Hey!
Not you.
No, I'm just talking about the left-hand side of it.
I'm not doughy.
No.
No, you're not. No, you're most certainly not.
You could just punch him over our heads.
Ant, please punch Leo for me.
Me? I
calling
didn't say
me
doughy.
I won't do
Jeff said doughy.
I won't do it on
Punch Leo
camera.
machine, finally.
I won't do it on camera.
Punch me. Go ahead.
That's assault.
All right, you want some Zen? I'm gonna give you my Zen.
Zen.
My Zen. If you go down into my numbers, the Canterbury Tale in 14th century English.
Oh, you want me to read it out loud?
This is a wonder. This is great audio.
Oh, it's audio.
Oh.
It's audio.
I love the Now, is this the dirty part of the Canterbury Tales?
I don't know, Leo. I don't think so. Well, somewhere there it is. It's the whole thing.
Because you can't.
If it's in the original Old English, it's going to be hard.
All right, so watch. We are looking
So
at
this
a
goes
manuscript.
line by line with.
Here beginneth the book of the tales
Here
of
beginneth the book of the Talus of Canterbury.
Talus of Canterbury.
One that Avriel, with his sure sota, the drocht of March hath pierced to the rota, and bathed every vine in sweet liquor, of which thereto engendered it the flour. One Zephyrisec with his sweet breath, inspired hath in every holt and hath the tender croppus, and the young sunna hath in the
swear to God.
rise half a course of runa.
A couple of
Isn't that
joints and
lovely?
you can't even understand Joe Rogan. He's just like,
Nope.
that actually is quite beautiful. This guy's good.
I thought it was
So where
lovely.
did this
There's a little
come
bit of
from?
sound.
This is nice because it's
The
it's
story, the link below describes it.
It's the manuscript a photo of the manuscript, and then, but what's nice is it highlights it, so you can actually see and read.
It's pretty awesome.
This, and this is Old English, is that right, or is it Middle English? Let me ask the Harvard man.
Middle.
Middle English.
And it's from the University of Saskatchewan because it's cold. They have nothing better to do than this. That's a joke. I would love to be there. Please have me in for a guest.
I love Saskatchewan when the wind blows sweeping across the plain. That's really cool.
Isn't that neat?
Here beginneth the book of the tales of Canterbury. Wow, that's really neat.
So for those of you on audio, the app line by line shows you, because it's in script as well. It's in Scribble script, so it shows you the words transliterated into text, and then also transliterated into the English we can understand.
That's
so you can
awesome.
read along and figure it out. But you hear it, just the mellifluousness of the voice is wonderful. We lost the rolling R's. We lost all of that in our language. We have a very dull tongue.
Not if
We
you
have no.
So Mental Floss is calling this an app. Is there an actual app I could download, or?
I think that because they're.
Oh yeah! Wait a minute! No.
There is.
It's
you can.
It's on Google Play.
That's the desktop version. Yes, you can.
Look at that.
Awesome.
General prologue.
Play that on the subway.
Oh, it's just the prologue. It's not the whole Canterbury Tales.
No, it's not. It's 45 minutes. Yeah. But I think by the time your 45 minutes are over, you've had
That's
your
enough. I want to learn Middle English. That's what I want to learn. This is really cool. Yeah. And that's the Android version. I think Mental Floss says there's an
iTunes.
Apple. There's an Apple.
I'll just see if Mr. Ian Thompson will let me follow him around. Close enough.
It sounds close enough. I don't understand what anything Ian says either. I'm going to make this my pick of the week on iOS today. That's great.
Boom.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I really like that.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So
that's free.
After Stacy sowed division, I wanted to bring peace and wonderment. And
so the
I
interesting.
sowed division?
no, you didn't.
Are you calling me
were
doughy
trying
and
to.
divisive?
So
You were trying to.
get ready for this.
Here's agree.
I sow divisions. You should have a little pillow that says I sow SEW divisions.
Yes.
You had a long week, Leo?
Dad jokes.
Kind of lost it. Yeah, it's a dad.
That's dad jokes.
That's dad jokes.
That's a dad-in-law joke.
This is an interesting little side note on this. The translation of this is by Terry Jones of Monty Python fame.
Wow.
And this is
Oh,
actually
he was an Old English scholar.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
a Middle English scholar.
So this was actually released in celebration of Terry Jones, who passed away last month.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Outstanding.
Oh, geez. I didn't even know that.
I saw the name Terry Jones and I didn't know, but that's his translation. So isn't that awesome?
That's awesome.
Wow.
It is not like Monty Python, although it does mean that Monty Python and the Holy Grail has some roots in history. I mean, the guy was a scholar.
Well, all of those guys were
Yeah, they're
really
all
smart.
Yeah,
really
Terry Jones
smart.
is really smart. Yeah.
Just happened to be funny.
Yeah. Sometimes they go together. Doughy
happens.
and Divisive. That's the name of our new law firm.
Jeff, I'm never agreeing with you again. Ever.
No, you're not. Are you talked out about Shadow?
No, we talked about yesterday on
know you
Back Break
did.
Weekly. It's an interesting conundrum. It's a little bit of politics, but it's really more about kind of an interesting conjunction of technology and politics. In this case, the Iowa Democratic Party, which simultaneously celebrated technology and said, this is the greatest thing. We're going to use an app to count the caucus this year, which means we can make it even more complicated and have multiple
faster.
numbers, but it'll be faster, more reliable. And then also a fear of technology, which caused them to say, but we aren't going to show anybody this app ahead of time. We're not going to vet it. We don't want anybody to hack it. So they released it. They effectively showed it to people only a few weeks before it was to be used, and didn't give training to the precinct captains until a few days. And it never before the election.
And didn't hard test it with data.
Never tested it. It never worked. And at the same time, they had such faith in technology that they shut down the manual reporting system. They said, we can use that phone number for something else. The whole thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well,
No
what
contingency.
keep your backup, people.
They used the same phone number for app tech support and reporting. And because the app,
no.
yeah, because the app didn't really work. There were people calling from both ends, and not nearly enough people to answer. It was chaotic.
Yikes.
And here we are 2 days later, still, or at least 2 days later, still counting the votes.
86%.
See,
But
I missed a lot of this because of my Twitter has a ton of mute and block words in there, so
including election.
I didn't see any of
Democrats.
this. I've seen Iowa in my timeline, but it had nothing to do
about
with this.
corn.
It's all about recruiting and football.
And there's you're probably smart. You're probably smart. You're certainly, that's why he's so mellow.
Butter statues.
There's a lot of evidence that it wasn't so much the app as I think the Iowa Democratic Committee that didn't, because of their fears and misunderstandings and also techno-optimism, didn't really do the right. Anybody who was putting out something like this would have, in the normal course of events, done a lot of testing and
Well, there was
vetting
also data when they got the
training.
data into the main, into the back end. As I heard, some things were anomalous there. So that's what freaked them out.
Yeah.
They didn't know how
But
good the data was going to be.
I will also add this, and Ed Felton, who is a brilliant cryptographer and expert on election systems at Princeton, he has done a lot he was one of the first people to break the Diebold systems. He said, but they did do something right. They had a paper trail. Every single vote in the
to
Iowa
their credit.
caucus
Okay.
was recorded on paper.
And
And
why
so
haven't they faxed it in by now?
Faxed.
Well, but when you deal with paper, especially in such a whacked out, I mean,
well, there were
System,
1,600
there's
plus
yeah.
precincts.
You got to count all of that
Yeah.
Yeah.
and double count it.
But that's the numbers we're getting, I think, come from the paper. So
And that's good.
that is an important lesson also. If you are going to use electronic voting systems of any kind, you always have to make sure there's a paper backup to validate, and in case they fail to
Probably a good thing this happened, because I think people who were ignoring this, and I used to ignore it. I used to say, "Oh, come on, it's fine. We can figure this out." I've long since gotten it, but I think this will scare people enough to think, paper backups.
Yeah,
Now,
New
with this
New York
backup-
Times, Charlie Wartzel, Democrats desperately need to win the internet to beat Trump, their first big test, a massive failure.
This paper backup, this isn't necessarily right into a log file or anything, right? This is
No.
just
It's
a
literally, in
total
fact,
output.
you didn't watch it on TV, but everybody at the caucus has had a giant piece of paper that they held that they were told, don't fill this in yet.
Right.
Fill it in after you realign. That's the other thing.
Oh, man,
the
this
caucus
whole
is nutty.
Oh man,
The
It's
system is
undemocratic
nutty,
as hell.
Well, it's sort of a very primitive form of ranked voting. It's maybe not.
Except that there's no anonymity. Talk about privacy.
Well, there is no anonymity. Everybody knows
And-
because you go in
and
the
you can-
gym and you sit in the
intimidations.
section you
Right.
want, and then people browbeat you into getting into their
Yeah.
section. And it's not a great system.
certainly
It's a
will browbeat
system
more
from
than
an
others.
earlier, more innocent era.
I'm going to give you up another
I was
number.
going to say it's a system from the white male property owner area.
Yeah, it's
Yep,
the Chautauqua system.
So NPR 2 years ago looked at what is the perfect state to go first in primary voting,
Texas.
based on no, because of voting, because they stop people from voting there.
I know.
Difference from U.S. racial makeup, share with bachelor degree, does it match the U.S., median age, median household income, share who call religion very important. For this test, number one clearly is Illinois.
Huh.
Illinois is the first primary, would make a lot of sense to me.
Well, I have a feeling. I don't know. But I have a
But
feeling
Iowa lost their
Iowa
chance.
Iowa won't be first again in 4 years.
Yep.
I just have that feeling. It's not the first snafu. And I remember last time in the Republican
Is it
caucus.
snafu or snafu?
Snafu.
It's Leo
It's
Laporte.
an
Iowa. Okay, well, this is
acronym. Speaking of acronyms, that was the name of the shadowy company that funded and then later denied that they had anything to do with the app Shadow. They said, "Oh no, we're just investors." Although it's an interesting
Screenshots. There's receipts.
There's receipts. It's an interesting. It
What a
brings,
name for a company.
I
when you're
know,
gonna have
Shadow.
problems,
If you're going to buy an app for voting, don't buy it from Shadow. It's an evil genius. It's an evil genius
is.
name.
That's the name
wrong
of my
connotation.
company headquartered in a volcanic island.
Yeah, exactly. Volcanic or volcanic?
Volcanic, sorry. I was going to say headquartered in a volcano, but then I was like, no,
Stacy
it's really
1,
an island.
Leo 1.
We're speaking.
I wasn't
Middle
trying to be a
English
jerk. I was
today.
really asking because you said it twice, and I was like, maybe I have been saying this
It's
all
an
wrong.
acronym. There's no correct pronunciation. It stands for situation normal, all fudged up.
It
right?
does not stand for that.
It absolutely stands for that.
The
does.
fudging is wrong.
Oh, okay.
The fudge is a fudge.
So you know what? Speaking of which, I was thinking today. I was in that bookstore, and there's all these book titles to be cute have the F word with an asterisk in them. Right?
I know, yeah.
So I think the F word is now completely devalued. So this is going to piss off some of your viewers, but pardon me. So I think we need a new curse word.
Okay.
I think it's
Frack.
Trump you.
Trump you.
Hey, go Trump yourself.
I can't say that one. That word is muted in Twitter, so I'd never see it.
Oh, really? That's a good
need a
idea.
new
I haven't
curse word.
tried that.
What else do you mute in Twitter?
It's a long list. It's a long
We
list.
need to publish Ant's mute list. Last week I had the filter stuff,
Just
but
clean stuff up, and you're a lot happier when you're scrolling through Twitter. At least I am. It's
And you
awesome.
can still do your job?
Apparently not today, since I didn't know about Shadow and this snafu.
there was a great
Snafu.
Yes, I can
That's
do
very
my
good.
job, except for
It's a
the
snafu.
absolute lack of
it's a snuffle.
public knowledge.
Snafu. I'm going to call it a snafu from now on.
Snafu.
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 Oh, yes. Under the volcano, I had a snafu.
I have to
Go?
take a 5-minute thing and I have to
Go ahead.
go.
Whatever
Go.
it is, it's fun.
Go knit.
Roger that.
She's got a... I know what it is because I'm a baker myself.
Oh, that's what it is?
Yeah. She's got to get the buns out of the oven.
Oh, okay.
What should we do? You know what I'll do? This is a good time to talk about LastPass.
All right.
And then when Stacy's buns get back, we can
From
continue
LastPass
on.
Studios.
From the beautiful
Yes.
LastPass Studios.
Yes.
In
Beautiful downtown Petaluma.
downtown Petaluma. Actually, we're really now kind of out of the east side, out of town.
It's
We're
like
out by
Burbank.
out by the railroad tracks. We're next to the railroad tracks. LastPass is a must-have utility, not just for individuals but for businesses as well. Did you know? Oh man, this just came out in a study, the Global Password Security Report, that on average employees reuse passwords 13 times. That's the average.
Not surprised.
And of course, you know it's a terrible password. When you're reusing it, it's terrible. It's going to be your mother's maiden name and your dog's initials and your birthday or something.
a color.
Monkey 1 2 3, and then to add insult to injury, you reuse it. I don't have to tell you it's not a good idea to do that, right? You don't. When you use a password more than once, that makes you vulnerable. If one of those 13 sites gets breached, all of them will end up getting hacked because now the password is known. So 47,000 businesses use LastPass. One of the reasons I really love LastPass, it has a little security score. You can run it on your password vault. One of the things it looks at is password reuse, weak passwords, things like that. The average score of businesses using LastPass, 49%, which is not good. Not good. And that mostly is because of password reuse. LastPass is the solution. I think we can get that number up to 80 or 90%. I know I have. Simply by running it and then saying, okay, let me fix the bad passwords. And LastPass actually walks you through that process. It helps you do it. And the reason it works is because it generates long, strong, completely unmemorable passwords. You don't expect to remember it. You remember one password, the password that gets you into your LastPass vault. And by the way, if you're in business, you have over 100 different customizable policies. One of the policies, you know this, Ant, when you took a job here, you get access to the vault, but you have to use second two-factor, right?
2FA.
We required that. We also have minimum requirements for your password, so it's a strong password. You still have to memorize that, but after that, everything else is stored in LastPass. It's so secure. It's not unencrypted anywhere except on your device. LastPass doesn't have access to it. I don't have access to it. No one does, just you. Mac, Windows, iOS, Android. I use it on Linux too. It has plugins for every browser.
Chrome extension.
I love
Brave
it.
extension.
Yep. And those policies mean that you can, as the IT guy or gal at your company, you can make sure that people keep it secure. I use a YubiKey, so you can have the two-factor be an authenticator. It supports Duo Security. It supports YubiKey. It supports a lot of different two-factors. I love having the YubiKey. And LastPass Enterprise now has even more factors. They call it multi-factor, or MFA, using things like your IP address and geolocation to make sure that that employee using that database, your business accounts, your websites, that's really the person they say they are. Authentication is what it's all about. And yet, they also make it easy. This is something that's normally very hard to do, to be both secure and convenient. Single sign-on. They have over 1,200 SSO, SAML apps, and a single sign-on portal, which means it's for your employees, it's as easy as tapping a button on the phone and they're in. No password at all, but it's more secure for you. And that is kind of the holy grail of passwords. I love LastPass. It's so secure. It's so safe. I keep my passport in there, my driver's license, my social security numbers. Everything's, that's, if in my whole life, I have a variety of different solutions, some encrypted, some not. But the one I trust the most, where I put my most valuable data, like my passport, is in my LastPass vault. That's my secure enclave everywhere I go. And just to make sure you feel comfortable with this, they continuously engage trusted world-class third-party security firms for routine audits. They're constantly being audited, testing the service, testing the infrastructure. Steve Gibson even did that. He got access to everything thanks to the creator of LastPass, Joe Segrist. He did his own audit. He was satisfied. He uses LastPass. That's good enough for me. But these third parties are making sure that LastPass is the gold standard for security. So many great features of LastPass. Here's what you need to do, both in business and at home. Go to lastpass.com/twit. It's the first thing I put on any new device. If you look at my system setup scripts, first thing, LastPass goes on there, because that's how I get my stuff. That's how I secure my stuff. That's how you should secure your business.
So easy, even your kids can use it.
Do you have your kids using LastPass?
They use LastPass.
Wow, that is good. I set my mom up with LastPass. She's in her 80s, so I was pretty impressed by that. LastPass.com/twit. We thank them so much for their support of the show and for naming our studio. Woo! We didn't have a name until they came along. We were just a studio. Now, just a studio, you know.
They put you on the map, huh?
We're on the map now. We're the LastPass Studios. We're actually planning another event with LastPass. I think we're going to do this one out here, though, for the West Coasters. So we'll see. Good news. This is a follow-up on a story we did a few months ago. You remember that ICANN changed the rules on the .org domain. They said we're going to remove price caps, and then sold it to
like a week later.
Yeah, in a completely unrelated circumstance.
That sale is now being held up. They sold it to Ethos Capital. The California Attorney General is demanding extensive documentation from ICANN. The AG in California supervises charitable organizations. That's where ICANN is based. So that's good news. It was actually the Public Interest Registry. And now the PIR is trying to fight this, of course. They're pushing back. What a mess.
That number, $1.135 billion. Huh?
Wow. Wow. So that is good news. I thank you, California AG, for looking into that, because that was a little.
What does ICANN do with its money?
Run the internet.
Reinvests it in domains, right?
There is some cost to doing ICANN.
SSL certs.
The Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. They maintain the 13 canonical name servers all over the world. The ICANN has if you think electing a pope is complicated, they routinely, I can't remember how often, I think it's once a year, do the key exchange. And it's a very arcane. I should see if I can.
Oh, I remember learning about. I talked to someone who was one of the 9 or
the 9. Vint Cerf, or the 7, I think. The Vint Cerf does this. The 7 people who control the keys to the internet. Wow, 7 people. Vint Cerf is one of them. I trust Vint,
of course.
And there's this whole kind of wonderful process. It's very ritualistic. the key ceremony. Let me see if I can find the keys. Root key ceremonies. So the last one, or no, there's one coming up February 12th.
Ooh,
February 12th. Get excited, everybody. It's KS Key Ceremony 40.
Are we going?
Let's all go. Do you have to wear a hood?
Road trip?
Is this at conferences? What are they? Where is that? Click
That's
that.
a good.
I want to know
you
where
want
it
to
is.
know where it is? All right, let's see. It's this will be in El Segundo. The ceremony begins
here.
at 9. No, I'm sorry,
you
2100
can observe.
UTC Wednesday. That's 1 p.m. local time. They'll be signing the ZS key for 2020 Q2 and destroying HSM 3.
El Segundo. Where is El Segundo?
And
down below LA, right?
SoCal, yeah.
My husband is at those things.
What?
Yes, this is Andrew goes to these.
He goes to the DNS
really?
keys.
He is so
The DNS key signing ceremonies.
I don't know if he goes. He goes to the events where those are also happening.
It will be broadcast online if you'd like to watch them.
Oh well,
It's kind of like
I've been to these shows.
Eyes
before.
Wide Shut with Tom Cruise, and they have the hoods and the whole thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So this is okay. So this is where
No,
my
they
husband
don't
is.
Twit live
Does he
specials.
go to this, really?
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's a domain name person.
They do need
He's an expert.
volunteer external witnesses. Due to the
I'll let
limited
him know.
size of the ceremony rooms, we only have a small number of seats for the discretionary roles. But you can submit on a first-come, first-served basis an application.
Oh well, next time it's in a cool place and I decide to go with him, maybe I'll submit to be a witness. How cool would that be,
It
you
would
guys?
be, I want you to go. I want you to go. I think
That,
that's
Stacey,
so cool.
I want you to go to that, and I want you to go to an emoji meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Do that.
Do that. Do that.
They have real emoji meetings.
Oh, yeah. Jeremy Bruges is a regular on the
Yep.
show.
He was here a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago, right?
Yep, because they have the new emojis are here,
Jenny 8 Lee.
including this. Yeah, Jenny 8 Lee got dumplings, right?
She got dumplings in, yeah.
Jammer V is celebrating in the background.
This is the new emoji is the finger pinch. I think the peck bump next time.
Next time.
You need
I
animated
don't understand
emojis.
the finger pinch. What is this? Is it like chef kiss?
It is.
Yeah. Capiche? Do you understand?
I think
Capiche?
You want to see it? Here, I got it right here. This is from Emoji PG. By the way, now we can have brides with mustaches, non-gendered Santas, and
Mullets.
mullets. There
Hey,
it
that's
is.
what it looks like.
Yeah, it is. It looks like a mullet. That's technically woman in tuxedo
I'm very happy about the fondue.
with the little Swiss cross
Swiss
on it.
fondue.
Is that a dodo bird?
Yep, and a
They're
mammoth.
extinct.
No, and the mammoth is too.
Not on the internet.
Not on the internet.
Well,
Dodos are back.
Is that like Red Cross fondue? And a Marishtrika doll. Oh, a llama pinata.
A matryoshka.
Matryoshka, that's it. I was like,
Is that a
one of those
peanut butter
Russian
cookie
dolls.
next to the olive? What is that?
No, I think I asked the same question. I'm thinking it's some sort of roady, waffly thing.
Oh, I thought it was a peanut butter cookie too.
Maybe it is. I
Peanut
could
butter
be
cookies
wrong.
always have
The fork marks.
They have the fork
Yeah.
time marks.
Why do they do that? Is that so you'll know it's a peanut butter cookie?
I have no idea.
you
It's
can-
totally
You can
pointless.
spread the dough out a little bit.
Oh, it's
I'm in
squishy.
heaven.
Totally pointless.
I think there should be a law that every place that sells cookies should have peanut butter cookies.
Agreed.
Sorry, delicious.
Cosign.
So these
Yeah.
will be in the next version of iOS. They won't look like this because, of course, these are the Emojipedia versions, every version.
Not
And I
the
love the crying with joy. That's
Yes.
a that's
Is that
a
what that is?
smiley face with a tear. So it's crying for joy instead of just crying.
I've done that.
Won't you use that a lot?
I do. A lot of Clemson victories.
100.
Wait, don't we have the big happy face with the tears coming out of your eyes because you're like super happy joy?
Oh, maybe.
Right.
So maybe this is just mild joy.
Mild.
Mild crying joy?
Yeah, there is one with the
It's smiling face with tear.
face with.
They do.
face
Yeah,
with
they
'cause
tears.
I-
name they name all of them.
You can't see my screen. Sorry.
Yeah, you can point at it all you want, but
Not making it on the air.
yeah, I love the disguised face, the Groucho Marx face. So this is just called pinched fingers. We don't know. This is what the
There was a
Google-
story that
That's
the
what the
BBC
Google
had a
did.
story. Was that the one of the rundown? That it has different meanings in different countries.
That's right. Fingers, hand gesture, interrogation, pinched, sarcastic.
Interesting.
For some reason, Google does not have the heart emoji or the lung emoji. Maybe they just haven't submitted theirs yet. There are ninjas. There be ninjas. Santa Claus of a variety of genders, including non-gender specific. I call these gummy bear hugs, but they call them people hugging.
Okay.
Black cats, so it's unlucky, right? Black cat, bison, mammoth, beaver, polar bear, dodo, feather.
Google's behind.
seal.
All the things the internet is made of.
Yeah, Google, there's a lot of blanks. Why potted plant?
Millennials love plants.
Oh, do they?
Notice that one of the descriptions is boring.
Potted plant,
Potted
boring.
Mhm.
Boring, grow, house, nurturing plant, potted
Useless.
plant, useless. By the way, it is not a peanut butter cookie. It is a flatbread,
Oh,
also
so
known as
closer to
lavash, naan, or
Naan.
pita. So,
Well, then I want a peanut butter cookie.
and I was wondering, what is this? It is a tamale. Okay. Fondue does not have to have the Swiss flag. In fact, Google's not going to. They're doing a 50s fondue, apparently.
Yes.
Oh. No, I'm looking for the one you were talking about with the tears. Oh,
It
well.
exists. I use it all the time.
How many? There are way too many emojis. There's thousands of them, it
hard to
feels
find.
like. You can't even...
That's why I usually, if I end up using an emojis, it's only like 2 or 3 ever.
Yeah.
That's it.
Us old farts.
I probably have about 25 in regular rotation.
Oh,
There's a
wow.
bubble tea now.
Yeah, boba.
Or maybe
I
there's
always
always
call it
been
boba. No, that's new.
But you're
Bubble
hip,
tea's new.
Miss Stacy.
No, I have a 13-year-old daughter.
There's a
that.
boulder, wood, and hut. Pickup truck, roller skate, magic wand, piñata, nesting dolls, sewing needle. Come on.
Oh, Google, you
Well, the one
suck.
I like to use is
Yeah, that's a
thread.
terrible one, isn't it?
Well, no, their pinata is not a llama.
Their piñata is like just a... Oh, I keep clicking
Oh, yeah,
on it.
you're right.
Their piñata is definitely whack.
Poor radio people.
I know, radio people, I'm sorry. Let's go back to the news.
Still no queso.
Hey, should we do the change log?
Yeah.
Let's do the
Yeah,
change
you're
log.
right, Ant. You need queso.
Oh,
Chat room
we
feels
always
the same
need
way.
queso.
Google change log.
Here it is. There is now a Google notification to give you a daily overview of the stocks you follow.
Evidently, it wasn't working very well before.
Oh.
It was sort of
No.
off and on. It worked for me.
It was terrible.
But it was off
I
and
still
on.
had, I still had to use like Yahoo Finance. It was like the 90s.
Boy, you guys are all rich.
Yeah.
Follow
No,
your
it's a good
stocks.
reporting tool.
Follow your old stocks. What else is there? There is a new thing on Google Photos, which I'm really sad because I will buy this. I couldn't get it. I don't have it yet. For $8 a month, Google will send you 10 prints every month from your Google Photos.
No.
You can pick them or
No.
not.
Whiteboards. I'll get 8 whiteboards.
Yeah. let go and let Google.
Here's your receipt for the month. Yay.
You can tailor the selection because you can
300
choose from
DPI,
themes.
crispy.
You can choose people and pets, landscapes, or a little bit of everything. 4x6 shots with a 1/8 inch border printed on matte white cardstock. Currently, it's in the U.S. only on trial. I couldn't.
And you don't
get
get to edit the photos? I think
Yeah,
that's,
you can. I think
You
think
can.
they-
Oh.
But
thought
you do
could-
get
you
the
could choose
serendipitous
topics.
No.
Where, well,
well,
you can't choose like pets.
I think
I don't know.
you
I
could.
couldn't tell.
I'm gonna guess that before they do it, you can cancel.
This is competitive though.
modify
You have that service called Free Prints, and they'll let you print up to 10 images or so. And you just pay for the shipping, and it comes up to being a little under $10.
Oh,
so this is competitive,
That's basically what they're doing. is you're paying for
Oh,
the
okay.
shipping.
and it's all
With the hope you'll
4x6.
order more.
You know what? I will do it. I will let Google.
I will
go and
not.
let Google. No, but I'm gonna let Google, and I will let them choose what they put in my packet, and we can make that part of the change log every
this will
month.
be fun.
I'll open up my photos live on the show.
Since you're not social, you're antisocial otherwise.
Mugshot of the month.
Google Glass Enterpriser Edition 2 is now for sale.
No.
Run out there and buy
No.
it. Come on, you know you want
No.
to.
Why are you so anti this? It's
Because he
for
bought the
enterprises.
last one.
Wasted $2,000 on the last time around.
Well,
It's only
Jeff,
$11.99 before tax.
yeah, now it's cheaper. And it'll have
don't rub it
functionality
in.
if you're not a normal person.
It is meant for developers, they say. And notice they call it the Enterprise Edition, which means it's meant for business developers.
Yeah, this time your boss will buy it for you.
Yeah.
Miss Stacy, I'm curious about use case for this. What do you see as the use case?
I've tried a couple AR headsets in manufacturing spaces or in workspaces, and they're usually used for like AR training, like teaching me how to do something, like connect this wire here, plug this in here. The other thing that's really it can be used for is getting data off of machines. That's also as a way of communicating with machines. So you'll have it like pick up your voice from right here in an environment that's a little louder than normal.
Right.
So those are some of the use cases. I've also seen it like in hospital settings for, like where things are located in the body. Wayfinding is kind of a fun one. Anatomy. Thank you. So when I went, y'all, I'll just tell you.
That thing when you say, "Where's the kidney?"
Kevin.
I can't find the kidney.
Where's the kidney?
Anybody know where the kidney is?
I opened this guy up. I don't know where his heart is. Come on, it's in here somewhere. Help me out.
You can superimpose relevant patient data over the person.
There's the kidney.
That's not the kidney. That's a uterus.
I was just playing devil's advocate though, but cause I agree with you on most of those. I can remember being in a manufacturing booth or something like that, and it was just beautiful because you have different parts, and you have a go and you have a no-go part as far as the manufacturing chain, and it was just easy for that overlay to let them differentiate.
Well, it's all great. So, Stacey, just so you understand, because this is a joke that goes way back. There was much hilarity about Jeff stupidly buying this thing.
As did I. I was stupider than you.
Kevin bought him.
You bought him to wear.
Prescription.
I bought him for Jason Howell.
Yeah, Howell has it back there in the back somewhere.
I bought him. I'm stupider than you because I bought him and got expensive prescription lenses at it.
That is pretty stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin did that too. You and Kevin are both that level of.
I'm stupider than either
I'll
of you.
call you dedicated.
Because I bought Snapchat spectacles.
Oh,
that's
boy.
okay. You win.
Yeah.
Those were way cheaper, weren't they?
Yeah, they weren't expensive. You can now Chrome update is rolling out that can block cross-site scripting.
Hey,
tracking. Oh, that's ridiculous. This is something every other browser's had forever.
I was going to say, it's about time, right?
Yeah, Chrome 80 changes the default setting for browser cookies. No longer are the defaults on for third-party cookies, but don't worry because Google still can track you using your unique Chrome ID. So that's why they don't care. They don't care. Using the Google Pixel Repair tool as a faster way to get Android updates. I don't know.
I put this up there. I didn't understand it fully. It sounds like it's a little bit different from sideloading things.
Oh.
But I didn't quite get it.
So apparently you put this on your...
the heck out of Leo.
You put this on your computer and you hook up the thing and then you install Android software development. I wouldn't do this.
Oh, really? So you have to do ADB?
This. Yeah, don't do this. Don't do this.
Okay. This is like the old rootin' and ramen days.
How much of a hurry are you in to get the update?
Yeah.
Well, remember the days when we
depends
used
on
to
the
be?
update.
Yeah.
We used to get all excited. Ooh, there's a new phone book in town.
Yeah, exactly. And if you are a Google Fiber subscriber, no more TV for you. They're going to just do a high-speed internet service, but they already were offering YouTube TV on this. Now they're going to also offer Fubo.
I wonder if this is antitrust, people.
Uh-oh.
Maybe.
For all 300 Lucky Fiber customers.
Oh.
Yeah, I was about to say for the tiny percentage of the population that has fiber.
Yeah.
Yay.
You're stuck with YouTube now.
The biggest impediment to Google Fiber's wider rollout was the cost of acquiring this video content.
Does that mean they're going to roll it out more?
No.
It was 2014.
Google was paying twice as much for video rights. So this is one way to make fiber more profitable is stop buying content.
That makes sense. I mean, you don't really need to offer video. I mean, the people who are buying fiber are probably not like.
Don't bundle my stuff, man.
No, I have both with FiOS. I'm very happy having both. It's good.
Okay, you don't mind buying your TV from Google, your TV content?
Yeah, but Google wasn't going up against Verizon, so they were going up against cable, right? So
right.
That's the Google changelog.
Slow on the uptick there, Kevin. Oof.
Kevin, we need to hydrate Kevin.
Need to hydrate Kevin.
He's gone all flat. Hey, sad news. Apparently, Kirk Douglas just passed away. He's 103, but one of the great Hollywood movie stars. He was a centenarian. Not Michael, his son, who is really old too.
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas.
Outstanding.
The guy with a little the dimple in the chin.
Rest easy, Mr. Douglas.
Cleft. Wasn't it a cleft?
Cleft. He had a cleft chin. Speaking of transitions, New York Times says that police in New York City are going to put down the notebook and pick up the iPhone. I think this is kind of, for since the 1870s, police officers have been carrying these notebooks. We've all seen that. The cop pulls out the notebook, licks his thumb, takes a pencil stub from behind his ear, starts making notes, writing this down. This is actually a picture in the New York Times from 9/11. First police officer to arrive at the scene, Sean McGill. That's his memo book. Wow. They've been doing it for more than a century. And starting February 17th, the department is retiring the handwritten memo books, and they're going to put an app on the officers' department-issued iPhones.
I'm not so sure I think that's like Iowa and Shadow.
Yeah. I don't know.
I will say, when I'm at press conferences, there are dozens of really young reporters typing into their phone, and I've got my reporter's notebook, and I'm like,
I'm with you, Stacey.
Faster? Don't you think it's faster?
Oh, it's much faster to write.
To handwrite it. Plus,
I've been getting the Flexion with the Rocket notebook.
Mm-hmm.
You have that?
I know what it is. I don't have that.
Flexion is an erasable ink.
Yeah.
Even on paper, but in the notebook.
Why would you want erasable ink?
Well, because you can reuse this notebook, and then you take you use the app, and you take a picture of it, and then you save that.
Oh, and it transcribes.
It's just a much
like
more
tiny
expensive notebook.
Well, not if you buy as many
reporters' notebooks,
Moleskines as I do.
Oh, you're a Moleskine kind of guy.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
I made fun of them for years.
Moleskine.
I like the old Manila reporters' notebooks.
I do use the. Oh, this isn't my Uniball. I was
Nicholson Baker. Remember the novelist Nicholson Baker? There it is. There's his Rocket Book Wave. Remember Nicholson Baker, the novelist? He was on a campaign because libraries all over the country, this is all over by now, were replacing their old paper card catalogs with digital catalogs and basically throwing the old paper out. But Baker was pointing out that there is a wealth of information on these cards, notes by successive generations of librarians about a book, just the way it's written, the style. There's so much information in these cards that isn't captured in a digital card catalog. And I think it's probably the same as look at the police officer's log from 9/11. I mean, there's something about that.
There's speed to it.
Well, then not only is there speed,
there's no autocorrect.
There's a presence to it. It was there, right? It was in his hands. It was there. And I mean, look, it's a tough job, and whatever they need and want to make their job easier and to do a better job, that's fine with me. It's not my job to write in these notebooks.
How much is being saved for having this at the routine traffic stop for you speeding or something?
Yeah.
Versus having an iPhone.
Right.
How much is being saved?
You can tell the officer's emotional state from how he's writing. There's a stuff that you can tell. And by the way, can anybody type on an iPhone at a decent speed without staring at it? You can't. There's no touch typing on an iPhone, right?
I think
so. He's looking down there, and you
video.
speed off.
I think Micah Sargent.
Plus, when you're interviewing somebody, you want to keep eye contact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And when did you leave the scene of the crime?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Watch Columbo. That's.
Yeah. Well, he remembered everything.
He was always pulling a. I don't know. I feel like he was writing it down, but maybe not.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's good. I haven't seen Columbo in a long time. Are you glad the Hummer's coming back this time as an electric vehicle? Big Super Bowl ad. All they showed was this, the grill.
I was going to say, I never saw it.
No, you won't
You're not
see
getting
it.
that, are you, Leo?
No.
You're not getting that.
Somebody actually said, even though it's still electric, it's still a massive waste of resources. It's electric, but so you're not using gas, but you're using a lot of other stuff. I think private car ownership probably has to die. It probably does. It's just not. It's not a good use.
Well, all you got to do is have some wagons going down the street, and nobody can do it anymore.
Oh, a little red wagon with
Good
99
call.
phones in it.
Yeah.
Good call.
Did you see, Stacy, the Philips Hue flaw that they thought they fixed, but turns out they didn't?
Oh, I thought they still fixed it.
Well, they fixed it again.
Okay, I was like, it's now fixed
But,
again.
so what I didn't know is you could get over-the-air updates for your Philips Hue lights. How
You
do I
didn't know
check? No. How do I check the firmware on my Hue?
You go to the app and
It'll say. So you want to make sure you got firmware 1935144040.
and under
No,
settings.
Dad.
Show notes.
You want to do it this way.
Yeah.
So you go to settings and then there's a section in there called
says the
app,
firmware.
and under that it says software update.
I wonder if I can do that off-site.
You should be able to remotely do it if the remote setup is enabled. Out of home control is enabled. And when you hit software update, it will check for an update. If it finds it, it says it will take forever to update your stuff, but it usually doesn't take that long.
It's just
Was
a
the
light
security
bulb.
flaw just allowing remote access outside?
It actually let you access the hub and then inject malware onto the light bulbs itself and let malware into your home network, and it can control your devices.
That's sad.
It was,
That's
it was
This
pretty
is the
legit.
geekiest discussion we've had in months.
Malware on my
I
light
know.
bulb.
I really want it to be geekier.
You want it to be
know.
geekier?
Carry on.
Would
How
you
about
like this
this?
show to
Carry
be
on.
geekier?
Kevin would like us to know that Google is hosting Pokemon of the Year voting.
That's
Is
pretty
that
geeky.
geeky?
That was going
or
to
is
be my
that-
pick.
That's geeky in a different way.
That's pretty geeky there.
That's nerdy, not geeky.
Yeah, right.
Correct.
Okay, fair.
It's okay. I just injected myself with sumatriptan, so I'm gonna fall over soon. But y'all keep going.
What happens? What's that for? Is that if you can't eat
Headache
turkey,
coming on?
you just use that instead?
No, it's for a migraine.
Oh, are you
It
getting
was
sick again?
I know
How's
I've
it-
had one.
Did the
for a week.
Botox for a week? Oh, we gotta fix you up.
Oh, yeah.
This
It's
is
okay.
terrible.
I think you can see the bruise on my forehead from the Botox. I got it a week ago, but it
And
still
did-
hasn't finished.
Oh man.
Oh man.
I had
I get
a
one
brutal doctor.
I get one little headache. I just want to kill myself. I curl up in a ball in the closet. I am not
in the dark.
I hate headaches. I don't know how you do it. I guess you don't have a choice.
You don't have much choice, yeah.
Hi.
All right. I'm going to let you
yeah.
go then. I think we should wrap this up because I feel bad. I'm sorry. I didn't know you.
No, you don't need to feel bad. I know I had one last week. I feel bad because I've just been
It's
having
not your
them.
fault, man.
Yeah.
But I'm just warning you that in 10 minutes or
No,
so
we're
I may.
done. We're done. We're done here. Stacy, what's your
Have
thing?
we talked about YubiKey?
What happened to YubiKey?
Please talk about it.
The open sourcing of the YubiKey?
Oh,
I don't know.
finally.
That's I mean, I thought that was big for companies
It's
like
huge.
enterprise.
That is a big one.
We're big fans of YubiKey. And I actually went out and bought, there's a German company that sells an open source security key. It's not nearly as good as YubiKey. It was clunky. I didn't like it. So I went back to my YubiKey, but that was always one of the complaints about YubiKey is, well, what are they really doing? We don't know because they're not open source. So they're going to open source. That's great.
And you can buy them in bulk.
I thought it was Google was going to open source. It's not you.
Google is opening source its stuff, and
you're using
YubiKey
the
is going.
generic-
Yes, and YubiKey is going to put it on their stuff or on the YubiKeys, and then you can buy them in bulk. There's several things happening here.
30 pounds of YubiKeys.
Well, no, if you're a big company,
So this is the Google launches an open source security key project, OpenSK. This is absolutely something that needs to be done. It's
maybe they're
Because
two
it's good
separate
for
stores.
security, right?
Hold on.
Yeah, this is FIDO and UTF, And absolutely, it is, I think, maybe not a massive cause for concern, but it's certainly something to be aware of. I don't like using closed source security software. I strongly recommend it against using closed source crypto.
Right.
And so I would like absolutely YubiKeys to be open source. This does not open source YubiKey, but maybe if there is a standard, YubiKey might adopt it. It looks like Google has designed this to work on a Nordic dongle. If I know many guys with a Nordic dongle, but I don't know if this will work on an existing Nordic dongle, if you'll have to get a new dongle. So apparently a Nordic dongle is a small uncased board with a USB connector on it. I'm baffled by all of this. So
sorry, it was 2 stories. It's 2 separate stories.
Now, what's the YubiKey story?
So Yubico, the company behind YubiKey, is doing a subscription service that lets you buy and manage them in bulk. So it puts it in competition with RSA's things.
I'm a big fan of YubiKeys, and that's what I use. It's not. I'm not knocking the YubiKey. In fact, there's an Ask the Tech Guy where we talked about YubiKey, and of course, I carry a YubiKey on my keychain, and I have one of the nice things about using a hardware dongle like this is you can use multiple ones. I have 3 authenticated. One I keep on my keychain. The other 2 I keep in a secure location, a secure, unrevealed location.
Where is it?
On my island under the
Where the vice president
under
is.
the volcano.
On the volcano.
The volcano island.
Where there are no snafus.
If you don't have a Nordic dongle, this is the way to go. Okay, there, we did both stories. You can buy YubiKey in bulk, which you know what? We should, let's do that. Let's get everybody in this building a YubiKey. I think that would be a good idea. I think hardware keys are better. They're better.
Can't hurt.
Yeah.
And the phone as key? What's your feeling
that's
about that?
all right. Nothing wrong with that.
It's better than nothing, but, it's not the best.
Stacey Higginbotham, your thing of the week.
I have 2.
2 things.
I'm crazy. One is Camect. I wrote about it. It's CAMECT.
That's my favorite ancient Egyptian grain. No?
This dude.
Isn't it?
I don't know. This is a hub for connecting, bringing in all of your old IP video cameras.
Oh.
Yeah, you're thinking, okay, yeah. No, it's a C, not a K.
There you go. Camect.
So it works with all of your existing old IP video cameras. Oh. So like all the, I can never even, all
of the
Chinese
Foss
companies,
cams and stuff that are
Foss
no
cams,
longer
Dawas or whatever.
Yeah.
All of those. It also works with Nest, Arlo, Wise. And it pulls everything into one device. The idea is it gives you remote access without punching a hole in your firewall. So for the older cameras, that's important. It brings all the feeds into one place, and then it's all stored locally. There is, I think they can recognize 20 different things right now, an AI that can detect, motion it detects people, it detects vehicles, it detects bicycles. So, and then it sends you the notifications based on that. So this is actually a really compelling product.
So it's a hub.
It's a hub, but it'll bring these old school cameras that are a pain to work with and kind of insecure. It'll put them, you can bring them online and add intelligence to those. And you
need an audio version of this for your Sonos.
Yeah. How do you connect these cameras to the Camect?
I think if they're IP cameras, so it's using like I can never remember.
I like this
RTS.
because you could hook it up to a hard drive at home. It comes with a terabyte.
Yeah, it's got a terabyte, and I think you can even extend it to another terabyte if you need it.
So instead of putting your stuff on the Nest Cloud or the Wise Cloud or the Arlo Cloud, you could put it right on.
You keep it local. And the AI is really compelling. It can recognize, I was looking at somebody's copy of it, and it recognized a UPS truck versus a FedEx truck.
Oh, that's good.
Which is kind of a fun notification if you're like a business and you're like, oh, the FedEx guy is here today.
I like this.
So that's my actual techie thing. The other thing, in honor of Valentine's Day, because my family just did this. Have you heard of Ruby chocolate?
No.
This is marketed as the 4th kind of chocolate. It was invented 2 years ago. They worked on it for several years prior to this.
Well, wait a minute. Fourth kind of chocolate?
Fourth kind of chocolate. Dark milk, white.
White's not chocolate.
Ruby.
And ruby.
Okay. Now,
White's not chocolate.
So ruby chocolate is made with fermented cocoa beans.
It's from Cayabo. I love their stuff.
Cacao. Sorry. And the idea is that it has a fruity taste to it. So we tested it because we have been intrigued by ruby chocolate. And I'm going to tell you, it tastes a lot like white chocolate with a slightly tangy taste. So
I like white chocolate, but it doesn't have any chocolate in it. So
this does actually have 34% cacao in it. Nice. You really can't taste it. But I'm telling you about this because I Love Chocolate, or Chocolate XOXO, has a version of this. So for Valentine's Day, this is a fun gift for any of your sweeties, as long as they like chocolate. Pick up one of these. It's the brand new hottest chocolate on the block. You can create a little chocolate taster for under, like, I'm going to say $12 if you want to get all 4 kinds. And how fun would that be?
You can get it on Amazon. Although buying chocolate on Amazon is always
hit or miss.
I just went to a candy store.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Ooh, ruby chocolate chips. Whole Foods has it? Okay. Because I would like to make a ruby chocolate chip cookie.
What makes ruby chocolate ruby?
It is the process that these beans go. It's highly secretive. If you look up the Wikipedia page, actually show them for ruby chocolate. It's kind of crazy and weird. There's controversy.
And we should eat it.
But it is cacao, at least.
There is some cacao in there. You really can't taste it, though. I was a little disappointed, I'll be honest.
Oh. You know, chocolate's so good. Do we really need to have a different kind?
Yes. Well, yeah.
We do. Okay. Yes. You can never have too much. Thank you, Stacy. Stacy on IoT.com. Don't forget our fun podcast with Kevin Toffel. Very informative. The IoT podcast. Subscribe to her newsletter at stacyoniot.com. Follow her on Giga Stacy on the Twitter. And now she's going to go to bed. Good night, Stacy.
I am falling as I'm like,
Good night, Stacy.
The screen dims.
What do you call that little noise thing?
ASMR.
That's it, ASMR. We could do the whole show that way.
Sure we could.
It would probably kill me.
Yeah, I think Jeff should do the whole show that way.
I don't think I could do that.
You know who
Can you say moral panic?
You know who'll say techno panic?
It's a moral panic!
You woke everybody up.
He's back.
Actually,
he's back.
A sleepy podcast, bad idea. A lot of our listeners are in the car. Aunt Pruitt, what is your thing?
My thing of the week, I'm going to do 2 different things. One now and one at a later date. But I want to recognize Black History Month being started. And this one is a little personal because it made me think about my beloved great late uncle. He was a volunteer, went into the Navy and was in World War II. All of the good stuff there, that, as far as serving the country. Comes back. He was able to go to college and get a college degree at Benedict College, and later became a high school principal at the all-black high school.
I want to pull up this picture, but I can't.
I need
to get permission.
Protected.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be protected. I'm sorry.
No, I just want to show it because he looks like Ant. There you go. Zoom in a little bit on that. Oh, so he's your great uncle?
He's great uncle, I believe. Great uncle. And he was a hoot, but he was a principal at an all black high school back in the 60s because of the segregation. And then when the integration happened, he was able to be the assistant principal at the high school I later went to.
What makes me cry is here's this guy serving his country in the armed forces. He's wearing the uniform of the armed forces. But he can't hang out with white folk.
Right. But then he's separated.
It's so sad.
So
yeah.
He's able to get at the high school that I attended, and he's an assistant principal over discipline, which makes a ton of sense.
Oh, God. Was he there when you were there?
He wasn't.
Oh.
But he later became principal, okay? And I just thought how big that was for him to be a black man there in the South.
Nice.
being able to be the principal in this little tiny
Was
town.
this after desegregation? Yeah.
Yes, this was when everything
So
became
late
integrated.
60s or early 70s.
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah.
And
It's lovely.
the funny story about it is I went to that school, and when I got to that school, every teacher and assistant or whatever, they said, Pruitt, okay, so I know your mom and your dad because my mom and dad went there. And then they said, okay, so that means you also know Mr. Creighton. And they all talked about how much they loved Mr. Creighton back then. And they said that whenever something went nuts in school with the students just being crazy, he would get on the PA and say, now hear this. We are not going to act this way. I mean, and you couldn't get away with stuff like that nowadays.
Yes, sir.
You know, but everybody
That's
talked.
command right there.
They said he would get on the PA and announce, now hear this,
Now
just
hear
like
this.
that. And people would stop.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I would. Oh, yeah.
But it was a lot of good stories about him. And I just remember I played in a college football game against Benedict College. And he was just so pumped up because it was just me getting an opportunity to go to college and play ball. And it was against him. He was good people.
Nice.
He was good people. But
Uncle?
My Uncle Mac. His
Uncle
name
Mac.
is Matthew Creighton, but we called him Uncle Mac. And he was a big man. Big man. And that comes from a book written by Miss Ashley. It's called Belton. A little tiny town in South Kakalaki, where I grew up.
Wow. When did Uncle Mac pass?
Oh, it's been probably 15 years now. It's been a while.
Thank you for sharing them with us. And this book is the history of this small town.
Tiny town. Probably, I think Petaluma dwarfs Belton.
Oh, I'm sure it does, yeah. It's a railroad town at the junction of the Columbia and Greenville Railroad. And Jeff, this means you should go down there, the home of the South Carolina Tennis Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And the Palmetto Championships.
And I think they still have the Palmetto Championship, and that was really big. It was always a ton of traffic in that tiny town for tennis.
Nice.
Blew my mind.
You always think in South Carolina, you always think college football, but tennis.
But tennis was pretty big there.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Jeff, number, please.
Very simple one. Amazon Prime now has 150 million members worldwide.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't remember Bezos revealing this ever. What is that picture? What is he doing?
It's something. This is an odd story. That's from India. And then if you look at the lead is just a bad lead. Just as they're facing government investigations, now they're having success. It's where we see everywhere now. We just got to do that zing thing.
Is there more link bait than ever before? Because in order to do the job we have, I scan, I do kind of a beat check. I go through Tech Meme, I go through Hacker News, Reddit, and so forth. And it just strikes me, headlines nowadays are much more of the you'll never believe what happened next than ever before. I
had a conversation today with a reporter about trying to look at Facebook and their kind of political stuff and all that. And I said, there's a lot of Lord knows legitimate criticism, but I said, remember the media ecosystem they have to deal with.
Yeah.
And what we've created.
Well, I just don't like it when I have to click an article to see what it's about.
Part of it's just society, though. We are so finicky about our attention.
Yeah. You got to draw us in. You got to get us.
Some kind of way you got to draw us in, and then when you get us in there, you better hold our attention.
It says a little bit about our political discourse in this country. It's all about showmanship,
Yeah.
And you're right. It's attention of inflation. It's always got to be bigger. It's always got to be bigger.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. I thank you so much, Stacy. Feel better soon. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, you guys.
No, go to sleep. Go to bed. Go to bed. Poor
I hope you feel better.
All the best to you, Stacy.
Always a pleasure to have you. Jeff Jarvis, of course, we love you, Jeff. Somebody said we should just have a podcast called Jeff's Library. One day I think we should.
Wow.
Just a tour of your books.
I got a new one.
What are you reading these days?
Have a campfire.
I love that Canterbury Tales thing.
Editio Princeps, a history of the Gutenberg Bible, a very thick, big one.
Nice.
Whoa. That has a story of every Gutenberg Bible in existence.
Wow.
It's very well written. It's very good.
How many Gutenberg Bibles are there out there? We had one at Yale 40. At the Beinecke, I remember. I used to go look at it. You can't.
We had one at UT.
Yeah.
I have this whole folder now that is nothing but the controversy, papers written about the controversy about whether Gutenberg printed and how the Catholicon, which was a kind of dictionary encyclopedia. And it's all two academics going after each other with theories about who printed it where, based on this one had this watermark and that one had these pinholes and this one had. It's just unbelievable. Talk about nerdy.
Yeah,
it's just magnificently nerdy.
Thank you, Jeff. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aunt Pruitt. Hands-on photography, a must-watch. twit.tv/HOP. Whether you're using a camera phone or a multi-$1,000 DSLR, this is such a fun show. All
Lots
about
of fun.
Taking photography, the art of photography, editing your photos. twit.tv/HOP.
That's right.
Love this show.
Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Check us out.
And of course,
Oh, Aunt, you look so approachable and friendly in that. You're like, here's a camera for you.
Unlike,
do it.
That's
unlike
him.
now.
That is him. No, that's him right there. In a nutshell.
That photo conveys you so well.
Yeah. And then he said, now hear this.
Now hear this. You will properly expose your images.
My strawberries.
We do this week in Google every Wednesday, 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern, 21:30 UTC. We had a lovely couple in the studio from Melbourne, Australia. It was great to have you. Thanks for visiting. If you want to join us in the studio, we do have an open studio when I'm here. All you have to do is email tickets at twit.tv, and we'll make sure we got a seat out for you. You can, in a way, you can visit the studio virtually. We do live streams of our production. You can watch or listen at twit.tv/live. If you're doing that, there are a bunch of other people also watching live, and they're in the chat room at irc.twit.tv. Another great place to go. Once the shows are produced, edited, cleaned up, we put them out on the internet. You can get a copy at twit.tv/twig or follow along at YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. Best thing to do, though, subscribe in your favorite podcast application. That way you'll get it the minute it's available every Wednesday afternoon or evening or Tuesday or Thursday, depending on your time zone. I don't even know. Thank you, fellas. Thank you, gal. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye.